Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is Guild Tales Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna go ahead and start off with introductions. Digi, or Enja, rather, would you be so kind?
Of course. Hello and good day, everyone. I am the storyteller and currently in charge of most NPCs, unless they are character specific, for the story that we are going to be embarking on. Now, I will turn it over to Cyrus.
Hello, I'm Cyrus. Cyrus, whatever it happens to be today. I'm also Wolstein, who will be playing them. I'm the Owlin Druid Ranger. And on to Graham.
Graham?
I'm Eisen. I'm playing Graham Ashfell, the Hexblade Cleric hybrid. Who's next?
That would
next
be
up
me.
would be Corridan. He is not... He's having some technical difficulties right now, but Corridan is played by Archineer Rob. He is an...
Oh.
Okay,
no.
now you just sound demonic, Rob.
What do you mean? He always sounded like this.
I am genuinely freaked out now.
You guys didn't always hear this? You guys-
Rob is revealing their true form.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Yeah,
Rob has just removed his voice filter.
Okay, somebody clip that. Somebody clip that, please.
yeah, I don't understand what all the fuss is about. Perfectly normal.
I don't know what that was, Rob, but so yeah, the demonic one is Rob.
Demonic one.
Rob is
I mean, we
our
haven't-
resident British, so you'll recognize the accent when he gets his technical difficulties fixed. He is an artificer.
What are you talking about? That sounded like a perfect British accent to me.
I mean, we haven't actual demon technically in the party, and he doesn't sound like that.
That's because that's indecent by all traditional standards.
Anyways, moving on. Loot.
Hello, I am Neonevik. I am playing the illustrious Lute Tutor, a level 10 dancer, a third-party class, and a rabbitkin.
I am Zim, and I am playing as Nim. Nim Otar Bonechomp. He is a sentient feral wolf, known as a noble wolf, wizard. Cray?
I am the Fox Bard, and I will be playing Cray, the party's monk.
Cray is Burb.
Burb.
Another Burb.
We have
Also
fun here.
Element.
Hello, everybody. I'm Raharo, and I'm playing Element, the fox paladin of the party.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and turn the recap over to...
Caca, mofo.
Loot.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, okay. last session, trying to see the name. Last session, Cray used his shadow jutsu to shadow possess one of the snipe shrubs. The snipe shrubs are plants that are also like machine gun ballistas. Taking control of it, we fought bravely against the one remaining one, while a fire elemental spawned from the ether, only being held back due to Nim's constant walls of stone. We eventually succeeded against it, but then had to fight the elemental one-on-one. Am I still here?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yep, you
Okay.
are.
Anyway,
1-on-1.
one of it against one party.
You see, he likes to embellish unless you ask him to specify. He is doing the recap, so you've given him this power.
No, I can still ask him to specify.
Well, that's what we're working on.
Thanks to Loot's aid, the party managed to succeed and defeat the fire elemental. And
Look,
our holy grail, the green mana piece, laid before us, warning Loot not to touch it. Nim eventually took up the mantle and
It was Element
Sucked
that
it
told you
away.
not to touch it.
Element told Loot not to touch, and then Nim handled everything. And that's all I remember.
game
We
that was
also
very
got a
much.
shrub.
There was also
Oh
the
yeah, that's
shrub.
right. You guys tamed a animated shrub and gave it a name.
A shrubbery.
It is Knee the Shrubbery.
Oh, you guys actually went with my suggestion. Yee.
And we didn't
Wait, what?
tame it. Nim befriended him.
What is his name?
Knee.
Nee.
Knee.
Knee the shrubbery.
Knee the Shrubbery.
It doesn't talk, by the way.
What voice
Actually,
was
it does.
What voice was that?
That was the voice of Knee.
Ah, that was the voice of Knee.
And it does speak. It just speaks in Abyssal. Thankfully, we have Rubicon to translate.
Nim will be learning Abyssal.
You'll be happy. He will be happy to translate for your shrubbery. So, I'm going to share the map because everyone is post-battle, and you have done it. You have succeeded.
Just for the record, we will not be running Stream Raiders tonight. Something went wrong with their latest update, and frankly, I don't want to figure out how to fix it or whatnot right now, so we're just not going to run Stream Raiders tonight. Sorry, everybody, but we will have Stream Pirates going.
Ooh. The awakened shrub, now dubbed Knee, is among the party's compatriots. Is a shrub. It has a movement speed of 20. Yes, it can uproot itself. It only speaks in Abyssal. And it has a singular attack of 1d4 -1.
I imagine when it uproots itself, there's just a pair of human feet that it runs around on.
We are not playing Kid Icarus.
No, this is still very on brand for Monty Python to just give things human feet.
Ah, damn it, you're right. I will still say it's just a mess of roots. That is.
Aw.
Hey, Robson.
Well,
What about
exactly.
Rosin?
No. Rob. Coradon.
Does he have a normal voice?
No. Zim is playing Nim.
Ah, I see what we're doing today. I see what the sky turns red as a blood moon rises.
Cool, we get to grind more enemies.
all three snipe shrubs rise.
No,
No, Digi, please, no.
no, we just leave. We leave.
Cirrus is aware that we just dealt with weakened variants of these things. I don't want to see 3 refreshed, renewed, perfect variants of these things that will kill us.
Yeah, you know,
Fine enough. I jest for now.
someone here must have died, so let's look around for loot.
Well, I see loot.
Yeah, I see loot too.
Sure, in fact. Everyone loves loot. Da-da-da.
Everybody hates loot.
No.
Nim is ready to go sleep. Nim is not doing well.
That is fully understandable.
But yes, who wants to do what? Because if you wish to investigate for the dead, there, by all means, roll it.
Well, I've already sifted and have been working on collecting my hardened spikes. So I'm going to go back and collect my swords that I dropped earlier.
Nim is just heading over to
Ah,
the
beans.
entrance.
Of course, our first roll today is a nat 1.
It's
What the
not
heck?
mine! Heck yeah!
Actually,
What?
you've got lucky rabbit's foot, don't you?
Oh, I do. I get to reroll nat ones.
Are you sure
But
you want to
I-
use it
roll
for that?
one, not one.
Ah,
Are you
That's
sure
right.
you want it to be that one?
When am I going to roll another nat one?
Today?
Also, Dusty, if I'm ever not here and Graham is in combat, feel free to just use him.
Oh, don't worry.
I
You
think
you smited that fire elemental last session.
What have you done that you've now achieved
It was so
3
close
nat
to a
1 in a
19.
row and a pair of nat 1s in a row?
no.
It-
I
Now,
think
now
my,
you see, they're called snake eyes.
I think
this is goat eyes.
I think what happens is my character, or sorry, I should say, what happens, I think, is Loot is like starting to look, and he just immediately steps on one of the spikes through his foot, and
Or
Wow.
just
trips down a hole.
or trips down, and then trips down a hole, and falls to the bottom, and then gets out, and he's like, "Nope, okay, now I need a rest."
Why were you
He's
rolling
done.
investigation?
He's
Because-
looking around because lots of people have died here.
Ah,
Yeah. It might be a good idea. I would have used perception if I was allowed, but seeing those 2 1s tells me it wouldn't have helped.
Well, as Graham is not into grave robbing.
Ah, but that reminds me. During the fight, since neither Element nor Craig could approach, they did discover a cursed axe in a coffin.
Yeah.
They left
That's
it
a thing.
alone. They left
I could have taken remove curse, I just didn't want to. It serves no purpose for me.
it, of course.
Nim is just limping over to the entrance to wait for the others. He's gonna lay down and kind of doze off.
The bush rustles over. Ruva can translate that it's sorry to go. There was always fresh fertilizer every week.
Sir is just chiming in from. Says, I'm sure we've probably wandered back over. I'm not even going to bother flying down at this rate.
Graham is just gonna go to wherever the piece is, or whoever has the piece.
Yes, you can, Corridon. I'll read for you.
Fair enough.
So I'm guessing, does Nim has the piece right now?
Yes, he does.
All right.
So much for making it to the party. Oh, right.
Since I'm not sure that Raylel has finished his secret creation of little miniature temples that no one else is gonna know where the hell they're at. For these pieces, where are we gonna keep this new piece?
Ah, yes. Corridon is investigating the mysterious stone composters because he doesn't understand coffins. Oh dear.
Oh.
Corridon, what are you doing? Corridon, those
Oh.
are... Corridon, those are sarcophagus. Those contain dead people. Which, now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised that these things are here. Considering we're at the grove. Must have been leftovers from some previous other part of the sea that it could have been before, or something like that.
Well, this temple itself is probably not a gruel construct. They probably just agreed to let it be built here, and then when the temple people left, they said like, "All right, now we're doing our thing."
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And to be fair, it held up well, all things considered.
Plus, they make very effective guards.
Now, I have a question for you guys. Are any of you going to try to collect seeds from those things?
No.
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 Would I have noticed them while harvesting for thorns very thoroughly?
You probably discovered something that could be used as a seed. Yes, they are an enigmatic plant. You've not been able to perform quite the autopsy, but they are, in fact, plants at the end of the day.
You know, I feel like demon seeds probably require like being planted in someone's body, or you put it in your backpack, and the next thing you know, you're gonna have like the seed like burrow through your backpack and into your back and like fuse to you while it devours you from the inside out, or something else equally horrific.
Why, Graham?
Because demon.
Because it's a hell plant. You think that you think things in hell are nice?
No.
And also, what brutal methods of like survival must plants possibly have developed to survive in hell?
So I see, some form of composter, perhaps. It's quite inefficient. I see no drainage or method of redistribution of the nutrients to the soil.
Compost? Elementiosis said, composter? What?
He's looking
is
at the
that?
coffin. He's looking.
What is that?
It's
I think Element would know
for-
what a compost bin is.
Hey, he said composter.
Yeah, but I think he can, just based off of context clues, you'd realize it's like probably at least something similar to like a compost bin or a compost pile.
Yeah, fair enough. Compost? No, Kurdan, those are not for that. They're just used to
Corridan? Rob?
to bury
Check stream
to
loots.
bury the dead. They're just used to have the body of somebody dead rest there.
Machine to break down organic materials and to create fertilizer. Ah, that was probably the answer
Yeah.
to your question of what is a composter.
Enemy shakes his head. Well, I had an idea what you were talking about, but that the sarcophagus is not for that.
Rob, check stream loots.
I will chuckle if you've given them some variety of the deep text to speech.
Demon speech. Oh, I understand. He was talking as the shrub.
Stand by as the browser opens.
My.
Turquoise. Bloody hills, him. Okay, yep, alright.
We can only speculate.
Well, now that the two bunnies are together again,
Are they gonna do bunny things? Like call each
Yeah.
other cute?
well, Graham's already the cuter one of the two.
Hey, you can't call bunnies cute. Now Bunny can call another bunny cute.
But I'm a bunny.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, that fell through so fast.
Loot says Graham's the
Indeed.
cute one. Graham is covered in blood and foaming at the mouth. He's like, yep, that checks out.
You're also currently steaming because you leapt into a fire elemental to smite it.
Why did I leap into it? I was a were-rabbit. I could have smited it from a distance.
Hey,
Yes,
Graham,
you wanted to make sure you didn't miss. Because
Graham,
there
I-
was some
What did-
accuracy problems.
yeah.
What did you do to make Rob say bloody hell?
Now that's anyone's guess, isn't it? Yes.
Although historically, every time Graham has tried to intimidate people, he has rolled terribly. So Graham is
I-
probably just absolutely adorable, even when
I think-
pissed off.
I think I'm also going to write down what I'm saying to Korodam as I say it.
That would probably be for the best.
Also, I'm
Just-
gonna. Okay, I guess I am talking. I'm gonna push Graham to the river and start to wash him because he's all covered in blood.
I don't think he's
so-
actually covered in blood. He's probably covered in sap and like ash from
Yes.
burning trees and jumping into a fire elemental. Also, he will just grab you by the face and be like, "No."
You're not washing here.
But I have a handkerchief.
I will. Does nobody have prestidigitation? Does
No
I
one
was
has
about to
that.
ask that.
I could kind of guess what you were referring to when you said compost. The sarcophagus isn't for that. It's to put the dead to rest. That's what I'm saying to
Archineer.
Korodam.
I kind of want to show Graham my new trick, but he probably wouldn't take it very well.
It
You
depends
guys
on what the
are
trick is.
so for the sake of speed for Korodam, you can type in what you're saying but also say it
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
for the viewers.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, they read it aloud.
Typing it first and then reading it.
We're just awaiting Cordon's response.
it's a technical difficulties, Mambo?
Graham will be like, "All right. Anyways, we need to figure out where we're gonna put this thing in the short term. Because no offense, Nim, but I think if we drop this with Jin again, that's gonna cause some problems and make Jin kind of a big target. Because I'm pretty sure most of what you've dropped off to him is what the Seekers are actually looking for.
There is now white mana in the Golgari district, and that might make problems. Eventually.
Yes, eventually, but we're already working on the solution that should be done before that happens.
You know,
The Golgari is the guild that deals with the undead, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
it is a green mana piece. What if we put it in the tree?
We have to kind of like hide it in a way that only we can get to.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Anyone
Where in
tries
the
to...
tree are you gonna hide it?
I think we could hide it in tree. And if anybody tries to get it, tree just teleports them to another plane.
We already established that it's a bad idea to have the mana pieces get out of our plane.
No,
Oh, no.
They
The
teleport
intruders.
For what?
Is the semi-dryad tree
hold on.
self-aware enough to defend the piece?
Rob,
Are we terribly certain
those-
that the semi-dryad tree won't die from the piece?
Enemy rubs his chin. How do I explain it?
okay,
It's
hold
so
up,
funny-
hold up. We have
Mhm.
5 different conversations going on. Let's focus on one, okay?
Okay. I'll let you guys finish.
And Element, you are not over here with Nim and Graham right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
And Korodam, please utilize the cards I sent you, please. Now, where were we with this conversation here?
Is the tree self-aware enough to not teleport or to protect the mana piece?
Tree is very self-aware.
Is the tree strong enough not to die from touching the mana piece?
Now that's the $1,000,000 question. That's the
We can find out.
You're willing to risk the tree?
I didn't say that.
Because finding out probably means the tree either lives or dies. I don't know how to test that without just seeing if it
There's
kills the
also
tree.
the option of asking Raylel or one of the
Well, Raylel's
now
already
former-
working on.
Can I finish what I was saying here, Graham, please? Instead of being interrupted? We could also ask one of the now former ensemble.
Admittedly, the tree is a very unique case, having not exactly planeswalker properties, but more like trans-dimensional properties. It is now an omnipotent being. It is.
We could
Yes,
also.
but is it self-aware enough that it thinks on its own, or is it like?
Behold,
still a
the
tree?
first plant planeswalker.
Yes, Tree is self-aware. The Tree thinks on its own.
Can't even have a conversation.
We can have conversations with Tree. You'd know that if you came and met Tree.
It even expressed a dislike for Horadon's world.
I mean, if it can't handle the orb, we could always put it in a safe and then give the safe to the tree.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, the biggest problem is that I think these mana pieces tend to have really terrible effects on sentient things that are not strong enough to deal with them. And the tree could potentially be strong. Also, I feel like you should have given it a name by now, if it's
He did.
sentient.
Yeah,
The
it's
name
tree.
is Tree.
He
Graham
did
is
give
just gonna be
Tree a
like,
name.
Tree is not a name.
Tree is
Why not?
okay with their name.
Yellow papa.
Okay, so you would be satisfied if your name was Wolf.
What is
Well,
wrong
Wolf's
with
over to a guy.
Tree's name?
Looks over to a wolf named Wolf.
Wolf O'Donnell, in fact.
With his best friend, who's a fox named Fox.
Loud. Also, they're not best friends.
Yeah, they're kind of mortal
A-
enemies.
A certain group of websites would beg to differ.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know,
no, don't.
I know what you're
We
talking
don't
about.
accept those. We don't accept.
We're talking about the canon universe here. Thank you very much.
I know, but
Not the rule of the internet, which makes everyone best friends with everyone in that way.
They can still be enemies and be friends in that way.
That's a whole.
Let
different
me have
subset of
this,
things.
Graham.
they're enemies with benefits.
Oh God.
Yeah, you just know they
Anyways.
hang out between games.
Graham would be like,
It's like Wreck-It
Well,
Ralph.
so how
Except
would you
steamier.
get this? How would you get this piece like in a place where the tree could, like, where someone would be forced to touch the tree without harming the tree.
Put it inside the tree.
I feel like that might cause some problems for the tree.
That was the point I was making.
You know, you could use their proper name.
Tree?
Yes.
We did.
They're adding the as an honorific.
Ah.
It is uppercase the, not lowercase the.
The tree.
Yes.
The tree.
It's something that we could investigate.
Lady
Ask
tree.
people that know more than we do.
Couldn't we,
The
like,
only thing I could think of would be like somehow getting it between the root system of the tree. I know Raylale was like down underneath the tree doing that kind of shit before, but that's the only
Flashforward.
thing I
There's
can
so
think
much
of.
ham. There's
That's the only thing I can think of for like a temporary solution. Because don't forget, like, these things have to go back to where they're supposed to be.
may I just add how unusual of a concept it is that the green mana doesn't make trees grow.
You know what? That's a good point. I don't think tree requires any more weird magical mishaps happening to it. I think it's been through enough.
We would talk to Tree first.
Actually, you're all still at the temple, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like everyone to roll a nature check
Everyone?
or perception. Pick one, nature or perception.
I'm assuming I'm gonna go nature.
Oh my, what's my
That
roll?
depends. What type of perception check?
Very visual.
Okay.
Percepti naturalis.
You hadn't really been noticing beforehand, but what was the green mana piece really doing in this temple? And you're looking around, there is soil where those treants were.
Oh, it brought the
And-
trees to life.
And matter of fact, even those, let's say, horrendous demon plants seem to be, or rather were, in a very rapid process of cycling.
Trents. Their name were Trents.
No. The
Cycling.
snipeshrubs.
Trents.
What do you mean? What do you mean cycling?
It means they grew really fast, which means this temple probably got uprooted by the mana piece.
Yeah.
And
So
the dead plants are decaying, and there could that be just the tiniest little sprout in its place?
let's get out of here.
Yeah, I'm feeling like burying this thing underneath the tree is a terrible idea.
No, I
Regardless
think-
of whether tree wants to or not. No, we're
No,
not doing any weird magical things to the tree. It's been through enough.
I think it's an even better idea now.
I can foresee no end of
I will-
statement.
I if anything bad happens, just know I will find a way to kill everyone involved with subjecting this self-aware being to more magical bullshit.
Well, think about the hamples it would grow after this.
Graham, how did your charisma score increase?
That was
The awakening,
from a
remember?
yeah.
Ah,
Every 2 levels. Which means
Wait,
you
wait.
get it also.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
wait.
right. If we're
Oh,
we all
that's-
get an attribute score increase.
that
if
was
you
from
have-
before.
If you have successfully gotten someone to be the mentor and gotten the awakening thing, yes.
Wait, that's
Ah.
what does the, okay, so I would get another one, so I need to update my card again. So what
well,
would it
no, you would not get another one.
no, because I was at 20 before I leveled up. That was from the previous 2 levels.
Ah, that was from
With my
level 8
stat
then.
change. Yeah.
We did the awakening after we reached level 8.
I was gonna say, weren't they retroactive though?
They were.
Yes.
No. Oh, so.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Retroactive all the way back to level 1.
It basically doubles your level up bonuses. So like it'd be like getting it every 2 levels.
So you would get it for levels 2 and level 6, but not for level 4.
You get the normal bonus from there.
Let's not do that just because it's going to be a nightmare to keep track of who does and does not have that. Not the retroactive stuff.
Hmm.
So just when you get it, you get a 2+2 bonus to attribute of your choice.
Preferably go that route because otherwise we're just going to max out all of our stats very quickly.
Oh no, remember also your limit has been broken.
It's up to
Limit
you,
break.
but I am against it.
Well, what does everyone else think?
At
if
least the
he's going to be
retroactive.
throwing,
Like
This
going
will
forward,
probably-
going
This will
forward, I
probably
would
be
say
a
it's-
character card nightmare.
Yeah, it would be a character card nightmare. It would be a nightmare keeping track of who has and hasn't increased things. I would say we each have one of those right now, or those that have been awakened, right?
Yes, which is currently just you and Graham.
What is this awakening you're talking about?
It was the mentorship that Graham mentioned to people, and then the only one who did it was Nim. Because
Okay, no. I remember now. Thank you.
yeah, and Cray was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that. I want to find my own way."
Yep.
But either way, like, I'm okay with it happening in the future, but we're gonna want to make sure that everybody gets the awakening thing done, like, now. If people
Alright,
are going to
it's-
go that route, just to keep
has
everybody on
been
the same
available.
level. I know it has. We just want to... Ideally, we want to make sure that we keep it as, you know, easy to
Distributed.
track as possible.
Fair enough.
We could just hold off. We could just hold off on doing the retroactive thing until we'll all acquire it, then and then update stuff from there. So we don't have to.
I'm still against the retroactive.
It's gonna be a bit of a problem if Crane ever gets it.
That's true.
But we could say, you know, now that we are level 10, this is a good spot to start it. And I'm okay with it happening here from level 10 on.
Alright.
That sounds good to me.
So we would get, so Graham and I would get an extra bonus now then? So we basically, so when we got awoken, we got a +2 bonus, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you could do that or a feat.
Okay. So yeah, when you get awakened, I would say you get that, and then if people get awakened while we're still level 10, they'll get the get the one for level 10. And
But if you don't get it at level 10, you just don't get it.
Well, to keep power balanced, did we roll for stats on this one, or was it point buy?
We rolled. We rolled until we were satisfied.
True.
You, you in particular, have the best stats of the party.
Not really.
No?
No.
This is definitely what our audience wants to hear. Rule discussion.
Sorry,
Hey,
sorry.
This is something that just came up, and I'm like, we sometimes this needs to be discussed real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we're not shouting at each other. We're just having a civil discussion on what we think we should do here.
All right.
Yes.
Hey,
So-
Digi,
there it
do you have notes of all the changes that have been done for Graham and Nim regarding this? Because it's been for a while, so I'm sure there's something somewhere that's being tracked on. Yeah?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
At the time, Nim also advised against it, but then acquiesced, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be throwing very strong things at you because strong enemies will also have this."
I will still say no retroactive, but starting from level 10, and we can do retroactive back to level 10 if somebody gets it later, but I still think it would be easier and best to just do it from level 10 on.
Simple. And what are your feelings about the limit breaking, allowing the exceeding of 20?
I still have concerns about that, but I will accept it.
Okay.
I mean, like,
It
at
is-
best, we're going to hit, like, what, 30, which is a +10? Which,
it would be a +5 on top of, and you have to invest hard to get there.
And
For level
also, it's not like
30?
we're going to be the only ones who have this. Every enemy we fight that's important will also have this.
I
have
have concerns because it does break the built-in balance of 5th edition, but I will accept it because I know that that enemies are going to get it too. Still say the 10 and up.
Oh, we're absolutely going to slap the shit out of normal enemies that don't have this shit. But when
on
it comes
top of
to
the mana
bosses,
abilities, I want you to feel like cool guys.
yeah, the only time we're gonna feel in danger is whenever we're fighting other things with mana ability.
So, Digi, how do I get this for silver?
You and Silver are connected.
Oh, so does he get it at the same time that Nim does?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that not clear?
No, which means I need to boost him quite a bit.
Well, +2.
It would be +4 right now because I didn't give him a bonus with the original awakening, and now we've got level 10.
What do you mean with the original awakening?
Because we also got a +2 bonus when we did the awakening thing.
I'm surprised Cray hasn't awakened yet.
How?
That's because Cray is like, I'm gonna do this myself.
Yeah.
I don't want help or people to show me or tell me things.
Yeah.
Luke's never going to be awakened.
To be fair with Silver, it's kind of like he's already really weak for a regular player, but now with all this, it's like he's going to be much further behind. But, you know, with the with him getting the +2 as well, then that's okay.
So, wait. Proxy players?
Admittedly, Silver won't develop their own mana abilities as they share them with him.
Yeah, that's
But this
fine.
much is fine.
Yeah. Just gives him some base. His highest stat right now is a 16. Meanwhile, we got people with 22.
Fair.
But anyways, Graham, go ahead and let me know what you're gonna upgrade there.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go for a feat or a stat upgrade.
All right. Well, let me know as soon as
I
possible.
also allow Tasha's feats, if for your consideration.
I believe there's also feats in the Ravnica book.
I do believe there are. However, if it is a third-party feat, I will be scrutinizing that.
Yeah, or you know, Unearthed Arcana. We kind of learned about that.
Oh yeah. Realized the reason why Tarracona was OP is because he literally was OP. He had cheats on with Unearthed Arcana.
Actually, we were interpreting it incorrectly.
Ah, fair.
So I still haven't found a use for this handkerchief.
Correct.
A generous bestowal.
Oh my.
Raharu95 tipped $20.
Well, we are past tier 1. Thank you so much for that donation, Raharu.
Welcome.
All right, so where were we?
I believe you were discussing the green mana piece and what to do with it and tree.
Yes, give it to the tree is my vote.
Well, we can give it to Tree after checking with Tree and the ensemble or
Again.
Raylel.
I definitely say we ask Raylel, the magic expert, to kind of gauge what he thinks might happen to the tree when exposed to near infinite mana.
That's what I said we should do.
No, I'm saying like literally run it down to Raylel.
That's
And
what he
that's
said
what
we
I
should
said
do.
Yeah.
You listed a whole bunch of people,
Including
He's
Raylo.
saying
There's only
he's
there's
saying
only
only
two
Raylel.
people. Yeah, there's only two people in this world that are qualified to tell us what could possibly happen with this trait interacting. That's Raylel and Eileen. The only two. Those are the only two options you have for people to discuss this with.
You mean Mammon.
And no, well, Mammon is Eileen.
No, she's not. I'm pretty
Please
sure
let-
Eileen is Mammon.
Please let's not make this any more
I will
Please-
goddamn slap you.
please let's not make this any more confusing than it already is.
Okay.
We already have so many names that start with E.
Like Eleanor Roosevelt.
All options are good.
Alright,
Anyway.
I'm just going with the stat increase to my charisma. So
Become
22.
powerful.
Graham's going to become so charismatic, people will have no choice but to be intimidated by him.
Is that how charisma works?
There are many kinds of charisma. He can pick anyone he wants. He can pick.
He
Fair enough.
overwhelms them with his cuteness that it just
Force.
becomes like a dread stare.
I was going to say force of personality, but sure, why not?
Force of
I mean-
personality.
I mean, I can see that.
Well,
It's just a
intimidation is a charisma roll, so.
Something so cute that it becomes disturbing at the same time.
Going on Candy Valley, then, are we?
You know,
I like that idea, Element.
if that soil really is special soil, maybe I should collect some.
Graham
No,
will be like, it's probably not the soil, it's probably the mana piece interacting with the soil. The soil's probably not gonna be the same for very long once we remove this piece.
You don't think it will remain permanently enchanted with green mana?
Probably no, especially if we take this piece out. Well, it depends on where we put this piece, really.
Well, it won't harm me just to take a little. Do I even have anything to pick it up with?
Let me rephrase it. I wasn't telling you that you can't use it. I'm just saying if you're gonna study it or whatever you're gonna do with it, you need to do it quickly. Because
Wait.
there's no telling how long it'll retain its special properties.
Yeah, you're right. Also, I could stuff the soil in my bedroll, or I put it in a handkerchief and tie the handkerchief up.
You've found the use. You've done it.
There, I have a handkerchief of soil now.
I allow this.
And I got a job done.
Congratulations on your dirt. I hope you're very proud of it.
The only
I guess
item.
let's decide it.
All right. So to the tree.
As you leave the temple,
Not leaving yet.
There
There's
are-
another conversation that was going on.
yes, thank you.
Yeah. That was a good one, whoa.
I mean, not incorrect though. I cannot say he lies. He does not. I cannot say.
That said, I do believe we last left off with Cord and had stopped investigating the sarcophagi to look at Element with tilted head. And both
Oh, yeah.
I and Element had a response.
Oh yeah, and let me respond with rubbing his chin and saying, "How do I explain it? In some parts of our city, people buried their dead as a way to honor them or remember them. Just in some parts, though."
Yep, there are many handlings of the dead. This sort of reverence and care for them practiced by many various fashions here. This temple likely being for someone important or powerful to arrange this, especially for those guards.
You said something else after that, unless that wasn't part of the conversation.
Oh, right, sorry. Luckily, those were weakened. We'd certainly be dead if those were in their prime.
Wait, what? Those things were weakened?
Yes. But that's for another time. Cord.
And why did that not work?
Oh, dear.
One moment.
No
Okay.
worries.
Okay. Is it just the voice I picked? Sorry, technical.
Creedon says,
Okay.
test.
There we go.
It was the voice that I picked. Apparently, it doesn't actually work. So
Whoops.
I'll just go ahead and copy and paste your message, Rob, and we'll go from there.
Creedon says, you honor them through burial, a stone box. It seems a wasteful end. We honored fallen warriors through their deeds, and by recycling their components to benefit the hive.
Hey,
Hmm.
Fair enough. I suppose to a limited extent, the Golgari practice that a little bit.
Yeah, I
That's-
was about to. Yeah, I was about to say that sounds something like that the Golgari will be familiar with. We do bury our fallen warriors at the Boros though.
It is of many varied reasons of which that may arise. Perhaps some indication if no response from Cordon is. I'll be honest, I don't know if they're typing or if we're waiting, or if there's nothing to say, so.
He may just be taking he may just be taking to time.
Creedon says, Creedon looks over the skeleton. I suppose these remains do not hold their integrity well enough to be of much use after death, besides fertilizer. Burying seems an apt use of the body.
I'm gonna start calling you Korean from now on. Because apparently that's the correct way to pronounce it.
Craig, don't. That's just being a dick.
You do know I'm a dick, right?
Does not mean I'm going to let you be one.
More than talking.
well, at least we have a method.
Fair enough. Yes. Hmm.
Am I waiting on something?
Oh, Element, what was your response to Cordon's statement that these bodies will probably not have much use? Cyrus has also opted to have a response for this.
Cyrus just gives a little bit of a kind of dark chuckle. Nah, that's certainly one way to look at it, and
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I
perhaps
was,
born of necessity, but there is a certain wastefulness about her.
I suppose I can understand where you're coming from, but it's thing is that well, it's just not something that we do in some parts of the city. That is just how we behave in that regard. Some people don't. Some people see the dead as sacred, and they do not like to. We call it desecrating when it comes to basically messing up with a dead body. It changed so much already. What do you mean by that, Rob?
There's a
His name.
ever-growing delay. Oh,
Karidan says, if this is a burial place for the dead, I suppose it might explain the verdant plant growth. Though I shall note that it is a delicate subject for some factions. I shall refrain from it.
That I mean, nonsense is that is probably for the best.
perhaps that is true. And as for my remark earlier, then, I just mean that these plants were not nearly as precise nor fast as what I've seen once.
You've seen those kind of plans before. That must have been quite the experience.
Once more on the borders, it was stumbled upon by Gruel, from what I understood. Rather, it was waiting in ambush before engaging. And a healthy one apparently goes much faster. These ones, they were maybe half as fast as the ones I had seen. Let alone that, well, I'm still standing. I've taken 4 hits. The healthy one I saw was very certain to put them more fatally.
If those things were at our most, at least one of us will be dead. If not a lot of us.
Oh,
Jeez.
I am confident we would all be dead.
Well, I am. Well, then I am. I am grateful that those things were not in their prime. Then. Oh.
Apologize if any. Let me know if anyone's upset that I didn't heal them sooner. I'm more than happy to explain that there was no time for healing and all that.
I'm gonna be honest. You were quite manic when you began. This is actually the first time I've seen you actually fight in direct combat. I wasn't expecting you to be so hands-on.
When I want to make sure it's felt quickly, or at least do my best. A group of Gruel had difficulty with one healthy one. I didn't waste trouble, and there was a reason I asked you all to abandon the trees and shrubs to help.
I see. See.
That's why I say, if we're fortunate these were weakened, the hesitation would be fatal.
See. Oh. Well then, I am glad that we somehow came out with no casualties.
Sir is just gonna tilt their head a little. Yes, close enough to no casualties.
Did anybody die?
Close, but no.
Just a little closer than I'd like.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Speaking of, Cordon, are you alright? As I thought I heard a hit behind me, but, well, you seem unharmed. Are you all good?
Caridon says, Caridon looks over the owl. Do you require assistance, Cirrus? Those spikes hit with dreadful power. My equipment requires maintenance. He looks down at the hole in his front, chittering.
Cheddar, cheddar.
I don't like the way you said chittering.
Yeah, it sounded like a completely different word.
Perhaps Cordon is being more himself.
I thank you very much, Cordon. I think I'll be alright I'll get this checked a little more. First, I have every intention of leaving through the village with the full display.
Yeah. The others are probably waiting for us at the entrance. We should probably head there right now.
Yes, let's shall.
Alright then. So
Caridon
everyone is
says,
leaving
my
now.
wounds are healed. It is only my equipment that requires attention. I feel in good health.
Ah, fantastic. Cirrus has rejoined the party.
Excellent. Peruvican is giving you a look though, like, damn, does this boy got baggage or something? Oh no, I picked an anime protagonist. I picked I'm not sorry. So, leaving the temple, following the river, you once again return to the Gruul encampment, and Borborgimos is waiting there, along with a lot more Gruul than there were the first time, and Tanya.
Ah.
Is she tied up?
No. Matter of fact, she's looking quite well for herself. Remember, she was Gruul before.
Graham is just hoping that he remembered their conversations.
Just making sure they're not ambush. Oh yeah, that's right. I have the magical. I can look at their body language and determine if they're hostile.
Go ahead.
I look at them and I tell if they're hostile.
No. Actually, They all seem quite impressed. As if surprised, but in a good way, that you're all back.
So you'd say they're friendly.
Yes, actually.
Guys, I think they're on our side.
So you've done it. You've come back alive from the trial. Did you get what you wanted, Nim?
Is that what we're
yes.
getting?
So then, is the trial no more?
Well, we did kill all the snipe things in there, and, yeah, I think it's, no more.
We shall have to find another trial then. However, excellent. It has been defeated.
Graham is just gonna slowly, like, step back and call Eileen to kind of let her know that we're gonna need her and possibly Raylel to converse about a temporary hiding space for this in the background.
She will answer the phone and agree to start plotting something for this. Raylil is currently unknown again. Once again, he seems to have otherwise vanished from the city, probably pursuing something else. Again.
Well, that's also why I contacted you, because there's only 2 people I trust to give us even any kind of answer about this thing.
So, no mess then. Things have gone well.
For now.
Interesting.
But I don't know what... You know the magic tree in Kray's backyard?
I'm aware of it.
Nim is contemplating hiding the green mana piece under it, and I'm kind of thinking... Unpredictable is the best outcome, and magic calamity being the worst.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to try and run some tests. I guess.
Please start on that.
I mean, to be fair, considering the green mana is all about nature, it's hiding it with trees is probably the most unpredictable thing we could hope for.
Couldn't we just touch it on a tree as a test, like right now?
That doesn't count because this tree is an entirely different entity from a normal tree.
To be fair, touching it to a tree would give, like...
some experimental data.
it would be a good control group.
Touch.
Because we would be like, hey, the fact that it just generally works with trees is probably a good sign.
Yeah. Nim, can you touch the mana piece on that tree over there? The one that looks like a big leg?
You know, it's probably not a good idea to do that right in front of the group.
No,
Oh,
we need to...
don't worry, they're cool.
We need to show off that we got the mana piece anyway.
I'm not entirely sure that's something we should be showing off.
In fact,
Either way, Loot would have no idea that this conversation was going on with Graham and Eileen, though.
Yes.
So why would
Yeah,
Loot
he's-
randomly be asking Nim to do that?
oh, sorry. I thought you guys were having this conversation out loud with the gruel.
No.
He said he was calling Eileen.
Sorry,
We just didn't get the Marten ring.
Sorry, then ignore what I said.
Done and done.
Luke's just talking to himself.
Manic mutterings.
So anyways, Nim will produce the green mana piece, holding it. Well, he'll basically just put it in front of himself and use Mage Hand to lift it up.
Ooh.
Even though you're not directly touching it, it just feels nice. Borbogimos nods and looks closer at it and says, like, yep, that's the mysterious life-death rock.
I didn't actually laugh. I just
Think
I
we
just
should
love that.
think we should test it on a tree
Why?
to see if the tree lives before trying it on tree.
We'll talk with people and go from there.
Yeah, but we need to test it on a tree.
There's plenty of
some
other
point-
trees to do that with. If that's what they
Yeah.
think we should do.
What do you? Okay, then I will hype up the crowd to
Please
try
don't.
to convince.
Fruit. I do believe that they mean
Graham
this.
is going to shoot. Wait, actually, let me roll to see if Graham can overhear this while he's talking.
I mean,
I
we're
think-
right next to each other. You should be able to.
Yeah, why?
He did step
what are-
away.
You
Yeah.
have
Corrigan
super
says,
hearing.
Oh, are we conducting an experiment? Corrigan rummages around for his notebook.
Graham is going to shoot a glare at the people suggesting to just go around touching random trees with a piece of near infinite mana.
Hold up.
Not
Hold up.
just
Scream.
Specify
One tree.
who's suggesting it. Because I am not going to be held accountable for the suggestion of loot.
It was Loot who suggested.
It was
Yeah.
only
you
loot.
suggested you touch one tree with it.
Yeah, Graham is shooting you a glare.
You already hold a bunch of stuff against Nim. I'm not letting you hold this against him. Nim is specifically not doing it.
Fine.
Good.
Then well,
If it affects anything, Prey's agreeing.
well, for this, I am going to now hype up the crowd to try to win them over and basically be the hype man for the group.
Hey, who wants
No.
to touch? Who wants the life-death rock to be touched against a tree?
Kalseru, I need to borrow your breath for a moment.
Okay. Anything else?
No, nothing else. In fact, if it's possible, give me double of your breath.
I've never tried that. Let's see how it works. And once again, he all but vanishes.
When I borrow Kalseru's breath, does might now become draconic?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's hope this works, because otherwise Nim is knocking loot out with force.
Okay, I am using sleep breath on Loot.
What?
Good luck. Good luck.
You gotta do a Constitution save.
Or else what?
You fall asleep.
Yeah, you will fall asleep.
Does it
You
count
will
as a
fall
poison?
unconscious.
Does it count as a poison?
No.
No.
This one's
Nah,
magical.
It's magic.
It has been used
Right.
to save the owl once.
Dragon
Let me
breath.
check. Don't stop me now. Nope, nothing against being put to sleep. So it's a Constitution saving throw.
Nope. Loops falls asleep.
Yeah, Loot
Oh.
trying to hype the party, trying to hype up the party with this group, and just falls over and falls asleep.
And let me goes over to Lud and picks him up. Okay, I think we just avoided a disaster.
Sirius can't help but chuckle. A pained chuckle.
Nim just snorts. Good. If you didn't do something, I was going to have to use force.
That is exactly what I did.
Karidan says, is the pink one quite alright?
He's just in a deep slumber. Don't worry, he'll wake up in an hour or two. I think actually.
Graham's contemplating whether or not he needs to ask Nim's tutor to help Loot as well.
She's just been quietly waiting. She didn't join you in the temple. You got permission, and anything that happens there is none of her business. But she is just like off to a side, like. And curiously, none of the gruel really seem to be approaching her either.
I'm assuming she either beat up someone or Tanya beat them up for her.
It
Or
could
she's
be
in-
either.
Or she's invisible. To the naked eye.
She seems quite visible. She seems quite.
Okay, then that's not it.
Well, I suppose we're gonna need to get this somewhere safe.
Let's go to plan that out. We should leave this place as soon as we can.
Agreed.
Graham will
Oh, you're
will-
taking life, Death Rock. You're taking.
We do need it.
That is fine.
Graham will come back. Is like, okay, I just got off the phone with Eileen, and she's gonna start running tests to see if Nim's plan to hide this with the tree is potentially catastrophic or not.
It's just one of possible plans that we can discuss with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good luck with life, Death Rock.
I think things will be fine with this one.
Okay. People every now and then wanted to try to make use of it, but even if they did reach it, it did not go well most times. It did not.
What kind of stuff happened to said people, if you don't mind me asking, sir?
Well, some people thought Life Death Rock was what kept those
Dog.
things. And he actually seems a little bitter when the subject of the snipe shrub is brought up. Thought they were the power of those things. So they tried to attack it. It did not go well.
I can imagine.
Everything came to life. Everything was treant or worse. And then when they were all dead, They settle down and turn to normal again. Then
That's
some
curious.
people try to take it. They just die. Like, turn to soil. Very interesting. But also very bad. Creepy. Creepy.
Now that makes me wonder, if somebody were to touch one of the fireman pieces, will they turn into fire?
Do not
Probably-
know. Do not know, mana piece. Lastly, some person throw something else at it. It was a branch. Branch grow very quickly.
Oh,
Branches aren't supposed to grow.
No, they are not. Turned into additional treant. Treant died because it was not one of their treants.
okay. So I think we can definitely rule out. We can definitely rule out getting the mana piece close to tree.
Was interesting to watch though. For the time it lasted. It exploded. Never seen a tree explode like that.
Interesting.
Was it from the things in there attacking it, or did it happen just because?
All of those things did a coordinated attack. Didn't know they could do that before.
So
Very interesting.
So the green piece did not cause the nutrient to explode.
No,
But
just made branch into treant. Dead branch, so very confused.
that actually gives me an idea. But we'll talk about it later with others. For now, I could really use a rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Good fight happened. Go rest. Have another fight tomorrow.
Certainly.
yeah, I need to patch up my wounds.
We'll talk to Elder. Find the next trial ground. Begin attacking trial ground. Begin.
Oh. Ow.
Okay.
All right. I do appreciate, but unless we have anything more, I don't mind heading back.
Yeah, we should go now.
Tanya's just grinning. Alright, you fuckers, let's get moving then. Oh, by the way, news got out. Some of the other clans are starting to hear about it. Let's see how far this spreads. You might actually get some respect around here. Also, what the fuck happened? She's looking directly at Cirrus like, why are you leaving those? Are you quite sane?
No, I've just spent whatever healing, and I'd rather not worsen it pulling these out early. I can arrange for that later.
Miss Julie, just call me Sasha. Right. Can you? No, I cannot. Alright.
I appreciate the gesture, but yes, while it is among the worst things, it's bearable with a little bit of healing, so. And I have my own means for that. But first, when we're underway. That
You look
said,
like the wrong side of a porcupine.
oh, yes, and hilariously, I'm looking better than I've seen others encountering these. Ah. we encountered plants that launched their thorns with, as you see, great force.
Oh, I know.
And thankfully, these were weakened.
Oh. Oh, they were worse.
Oh, yes. Cyrus is glancing for any response of the party at that remark or not.
Element already noticed, so he doesn't respond. He's just
Borby is just nodding with his arms crossed. Yep.
Lute just snores.
Loot. Busy being unconscious.
Yeah.
Well, it seems as though we've all had a day, so let's be on our way.
Then the party leaves the Gruul territory. Now with some reputation behind them, it might not be impossible to negotiate with the Gruul.
Do-do-do-do.
Now they think the party is a bunch of badasses.
Huzzah.
With the location behind us, wild shape. Reduce pain for at least for an hour or two.
Rufus just wondering, like, man, why don't you just sip a potion? Just sip a healing potion. Don't you have those? Don't you? You had a potion of vitality.
Cyrus is just responding. No, I had those. They were destroyed by the fellow that you accidentally overpowered. And I haven't been able to get more. I'll be fine, I promise.
Alright. I mean, you did good though.
Much appreciated.
serious. I would use my laying hands on you if I hadn't already used it today.
Cyrus is giving the nod, and now for a proper wild shape of just taking up a war horse form, just to make it a little easier to go along without spikes through me for just a time, letting everything meld along with the gear. Ruvikin's
So
free
where
to do
is
whatever
the
they
party
wish.
going? All together, back to the hideout or Cray's house?
Nim's headed for
King
Cray's
Cray's
house.
Cray's
Cray's
house it
Credence
is.
says, I need some time alone to repair my equipment. I shall need to remove parts for maintenance. He looks at Elemen, who interrupted his maintenance last time.
Hey,
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
Cray has rooms that I'm sure you can use.
Is the stuff that you need for your maintenance back at my house by any chance? Or
I do have many rooms.
or do you just need a room? Wait, serious? Wild shape into a warhorse? When did this happen?
Just now. To dull the pain with temporary
I
HP.
just require a room. I have all the required tools on my person. You, Elemin, have first-hand knowledge of how unsettling it may be, however, and the privacy needed.
Okay, then don't worry. Yeah, we do have. Craze House does have those kinds of rooms.
Elements pack shutters.
My house has what kind of rooms?
Empty
Yep.
rooms.
Yeah, just empty rooms.
True. We do have empty. Rooms of the empty variety.
Cyrus is just going to give a nicker and a wave over towards themselves with their head. If they attempting to gesture, they're free to stay at my place if they need.
And Loot has no choice. Whoever's carrying him is carrying him to Craze House.
Yeah, just throw him on my back. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, Lemming is carrying you to Craig's house. Wait, is Craig gonna be alright with that, actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. Everything is good and proper.
This won't look suspicious at all.
Now to begin the day's journey all the way to the edge of territories and back.
I mean, it wouldn't. I mean, it'd be suspicious if it was anybody else but Element. When a Boros is carrying you, it looks like you're some sort of rescuee.
So
Yeah.
Boros can
Cop
commit
privilege.
Infinite crime.
Cop privilege.
There's enough chaos in the place. I'm sure that anything can be explained with enough persistence, nearly.
Yes. Yes.
And if it weren't for Nim being horribly in poor shape, probably would have asked for a teleport. But hey.
Yes.
Are any of you carrying the shrub, or is it just like trying its best to keep up?
Cyrus is more than happy to stop and let the shrub climb up if it comes to that.
Like, it's slow. It is a shrub.
Yes, the shrub gets a free ride. Unless someone's carrying it, but again.
Yeah. Will I even be awake when we get to Craze house?
Oh yeah, you
Probably.
probably will wake up in the middle of us going there. Actually, let me check. Let me check if the thing specifies for how long you will be asleep.
I don't think it
Oh,
does,
no.
but I don't think it would be terribly long. Oh,
Yeah,
that is
Another loyal devotee.
Ooh.
So I'm going to sleep for 8 hours. Okay.
No.
Well, bye guys.
Oh wait, no, it says here unconscious for 10 minutes. It's much smaller than I thought.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I'm awake. What happened?
Mushroom. Tanya
Element
just looking
knocks you
inside.
out.
Oh man.
I am sorry. What I was feeling that something unfortunate was about to happen, and I needed to stop it.
Alright. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm going to be doing bar tours later.
You're going to be doing what?
Bar tours. I'm going on a tour.
Tour or what?
And bars.
Oh, okay, I get
Like
it.
And
like
what are
an
you going to do?
entertainer does. I'm going to sing, dance, and play the violin, and hype up the Grey Wardens.
No. We do not want you to do that at all.
Why?
It's completely his thing.
You guys need hype.
Not the way
He
you
is-
do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, don't give us weird nicknames.
Fine, no weird nicknames.
Just
you
don't
can
do
let
it,
people-
period.
Or Cirrus just gives a sidelong glance and continues along with the knicker again.
Fine, I'll give myself
Laugh,
hype.
post laugh.
I'll give myself hype then.
I mean, that probably sounds like a good idea. You probably do need some hype up for yourself.
Sasha seems a mite confused. Aren't you the single person who didn't sign the basically non-disclosure agreement?
Yes, I am.
He is not actually part of the Grey Wardens, and we do not want him doing any hyping for us.
I don't know how they expect me to work like this.
Perhaps I can offer some assistance. My mistake. I thought you were a bit more well-adjusted, but
Wait, who?
you, it seems.
No, the Grey Wardens need someone to extol their virtues, to kind of speed things up a little.
Whatever whatever you did back at the Rakdos campus was not installing our virtue.
The Rakdos have a different
You
idea.
disrupted us. You made it worse for us.
You did great getting their attention, but then you kind of lost it.
No, I think you guys will be well known in the Rakdos district now.
Yeah, as
The
a
thing
joke,
is
you
that-
destroyed our chances of building a relationship there because now we're just a joke to them.
No,
we need to be known, but we also need to be known for the right reasons.
Well, I could always tell the tale of how you defeated forest guardians and a tree and devil snipe shrubs.
That could help. Could kind
Let's
of-
just... No, I don't trust you to do it appropriately. In a way that will actually help us.
I mean, what if he rehearses that in front of us? If we could see what he would try to perform before he performs it, then at least we can be to it or not, and we can see whether it is good or not.
That does seem like a reasonable option because unless you keep an eye on him every waking hour, he will probably do what he truly pleases.
And I only need to sleep an hour every night.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
dear.
Cirrus just glances over again, concerningly almost.
I lose a point of exhaustion after a short rest, so I don't even need to sleep. I can just take a 1 hour break.
Point of
Corrigan
exhaustion.
says, it was a rather interesting display. If the next is discussed beforehand and perfected, it could prove quite useful.
There we go. Even Corridon's for it.
Where's our Leviathan one? They just do it all the time.
Yeah. Here's my rule for you hyping us up. You
Mhm.
need to extol our abilities
Okay.
to protect people from
Mhm.
dangerous things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. That should be the focus of the act.
And who's
Get
our
their
villain?
attention. Well, if we're going off the most recent thing, it'd be the hell plants.
Yes, but people aren't scared. That would be just one thing. Who's our main villain?
We cannot discuss this stuff with you because you did not sign the agreement. Which is part of why I don't want you trying to promote us. You chose not to be part of our group.
All right, fine.
Did he refuse to sign the
Yeah,
the
he refused.
contract?
Yeah, he refused
Uh,
to sign the contract.
He'd had enough of contracts when he decided to side with us over the Orzhov.
Earth and fire, heed my call.
Cool.
Okay,
What's happening?
so that is a storm card, so some kind of weather thing needs to happen. To answer a question in the chat, Leviathan. Loot's introduction to our group. Loot has joined rather recently. I do want it noted that this is only in character, but Loot came in and orchestrated a theft from the party of a very valuable object. And he also sued one of the party members and kind of made us a laughingstock. We can't really trust him. And he is insisting on trying to promote us, and the last time he did so, he made it a laughing. He ruined our reputation rather than helping it.
Don't know that yet.
That is at least what Nim is thinking on it then.
Graham was fine with it, like as a thing to get attention, but I would say the nicknames you started giving out to the party made it from like, you know, a way to get attention to like, yeah, Graham was like, okay, no, we're gonna be jokes here.
Well, at the very least, Loot did fight with the party, and that is not worth nothing.
No, it is not. However, that does not mean we want him promoting us either.
We want
Graham would just be like, just describe recent battles that you have been a part of.
Well, hold on. Continuing to explain out of character, to the chat here, for those that are not aware and have not seen the previous episodes. This is why we are... It's basically the party does not trust Loot. He did fight with us during this last battle, but that was just one battle, and he's already shown an attempt to befriend us, followed by a betrayal. At least on Nim's front, he is very suspicious of Loot's motivations. His motives.
Nim is especially cross with Loot because his entire scheme affected Nim directly. He was more indirect with the rest of the party.
Well, not even that. They stole something that Nim was planning to protect the party with, their friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Loot or
it was more personal for Nim. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Loot he was involved with the theft of the white mana piece that Nim had, which was something that he was told, or that he is at least convinced that he needs to keep the party safe. And Nim's driving factor is friendship. And when you disrupt his ability to protect his friends, he does not take that well. To put it very lightly. So yeah, that's an explanation of why we are kind of bullying, like in characterly we are bullying Loot. There's no animosity out of character there, just purely in character. And it's just a result of things that happened.
Yeah, I know it's sometimes kind of hard to tell apart that. We have had trouble with that in the past in this group. But yeah.
Graham is just like, I'm going to encourage Luke to at least try, so that way he has he has a little bit more of like a purpose in the party. That way he's not tempted to go back to his old life
Yeah, we
or
He
further
did
betray
not-
us.
He did not want to be part of our party.
He's, I mean, to be fair, Nim, he didn't want to be part of the party officially just because of the contract. He's kind
he
of
did-
he explained it to me. He doesn't really he's kind of dumb with contracts because of his involvement of his involvement with his field. That is
I
that
understand
is
he does. I understand his reasons for not wanting to sign the contract. However, that's still, we need to protect ourselves. This is the future of this entire world that is at stake here.
That's why Graham isn't proposing that we let him in on anything significant or important as far as information goes, like where mana pieces are hidden.
Oh my, it is raining really hard all of a sudden.
Oh my.
Graham
Graham
okay,
is gonna
Neo, no,
find
don't
shelter.
do that. It is up to the DM to decide what the weather is going to be.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
But either way, we are having a conversation here, and I don't know why we're interrupting it with that.
Because it should happen at a certain point.
Well,
It should,
yes.
and I do remember it, but
Okay.
I will let things finish first.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, I don't want to sign a death contract. I don't know why that's always your go-to.
It's not an instant death contract. It is
It
a
wasn't-
contract where it will be known if you are breached from it, and then it would give Oliver.
Yes, it gives them
Oswald.
Pluto,
permission
or
to
Pluto.
remote
Oswald.
control, detonate your brain.
No, that's Pluto. It's
That's
Pluto
right,
who
then,
does
yes.
the contract.
Yeah. It's the
It's not a death
equivalent of...
contract. It's an if you betray us, you die contract.
And it goes back to that because you have betrayed us.
You
Well,
made me
it's
sign
also-
a death contract when you didn't think I was betraying you.
I didn't
To be
make
fair,
you
it
sign
just-
anything back then.
Yes, you... Yeah, I signed a death contract back then.
It's
I
a
did not make
contract
you
that
do it.
basically it basically is like you can't divulge important information to others contract, otherwise you're a dead man, which is
It was
true.
when you brought him to the ensemble hideout, and they said like,
Yeah.
"Don't tell anyone about this place."
Nim was not
Or
involved
else.
in that.
Yes.
Yeah, but Loot still blames you.
Oh no.
Why?
Because you love these contracts so much, he thinks you told them to.
No, Graham was the one who literally. It was literally Graham who told you. It's just like, if you want to come in here, you got to do this. Otherwise, we're gonna be sending you away.
And this is literally the first time Nim's done anything with a contract.
I
And
didn't
Graham
say
has also
Loot-
explained this contract to you. I would
Yeah.
keep in mind that Graham has literally explained that the contract is literally you just can't tell anyone about our secret shit.
Yeah. or
Otherwise,
your brain
death
explodes.
will come to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Either
so
way,
basically, like,
I do not want this. I do not want Loot doing anything to promote our group.
But you're so popular
how
in the
about
Rakdos
we
now.
let Nim? He's got to do something. I suggest that while we don't let him proclaim the virtues of the Grey Wardens, I don't see why we can't let him kind of bardically dance the tale of our most recent battle to people as like a trial run for future things. If we like what he's doing, great. If he doesn't, if we don't like it, we never let him do it again.
He can at most give us a view of what he's going to do, and then I guess we can go from there.
That's what I suggested. After all, aren't these things usually don't bards and dancers usually rehearse their performances anyways? We might as well be that audience.
I usually improv, but yes, I can.
Or there's your problem.
Anyway, no death contracts.
Don't worry, I understand you being against death contracts. I'm not exactly. I'm not. It's not exactly pleasant having that looming over you. But I understand the importance of it either way. Well, we should probably.
The contract is primarily because of you, Loot, and your actions in the past.
Well, it's why it's important for you to sign it if you want us to share any kind of significant information with you. But Nim, the contract has been around to protect all of us from each other in case one of us decides to go rogue.
It generates trust.
Cirrus nods.
You want us to trust you, but you won't trust us with this on this front. And yet you've caused the most grievance here.
Well, I don't see you apologizing for almost killing me and tearing my arm out of my socket.
Didn't you do that during the court case?
I did not tear your arm out of your socket.
I think he was doing this thing called exaggeration. It's more of a you say something in a way that kind of is more extreme than was actually happening to further kind of illustrate a point.
That sounds like lying to me.
Hyperbole and lying can be very close, but not exactly.
So he's lying to us again.
No, he's not.
No, Nim. Graham will say.
He literally just said I ripped his arm out of its socket, and yet it's clearly still attached.
He was saying trying to rip his arm out of his socket.
No, he said I did. I almost killed him and ripped his arm out of its socket.
He did say almost, Nim. He did
almost
not say that
killed,
you actually did
not the ripping.
No. He did not say that you ripped his arm out of his socket, Nim.
Elaming is going to clear his throat very loudly so that everybody hears him. Enough. And enough with this conversation again. We don't need to tread all grounds again. Come on, let's just keep going. I don't want to remain in Gruul territory.
Assuming we're walking and talking.
I know. Let's pick up the pace. Plus, it looks like it might rain pretty soon.
No. The clouds overhead are certainly...
Guys, the storm card can literally be anything. Please don't insert your own interpretation of what might happen. For all we know, it could be an earthquake. It could be anything. We don't have any idea what the DM is thinking of.
Sheet of 10-foot thick snow is going to come down from the sky and crush us all.
Don't insert your own ideas on what's going on.
I didn't know that storm cloud could produce an earthquake, so forgive me. I imagine storm will have to do with something with the sky.
Yeah, that
Not
cloud over there
necessarily.
does look like a
Corrigan
storm
says,
cloud.
If you wish to be trusted
unrelatedly.
with secrets of the high group, loot. The contract is required. If a copy of the contract may be provided for him to review in detail and think about it, that may be best.
No, vehemently no.
Ooh.
Then you
Well,
won't be
then.
trusted.
Yeah, there's only
just
so much we
can't.
can trust you with.
You
Either
guys,
that or you're in for a very, very long road before you're kind of let in on things.
you guys only trust people at the end of a knife.
No. I trust Cyrus and
Luke.
Corridan.
And you made them sign the contract.
You
Because-
literally are a brainwashed person
Sir,
It would
who
not
has
have been-
betrayed.
It would not have been fair for me to ask you to sign the contract without asking the other two new members of the party. I will be fully honest. If it were just those two, I would not have asked anyone to sign.
And yet you did.
Because you were part of the people that were potentially joining our group.
If you have something to say, come out and say it.
I'm pretty sure I have
Cyrus
been saying
is-
it. I don't trust you.
Cyrus is dropping the wild shape, making sure that Ruvikin and the shrub are fine.
The shrub is planted on your filter. The roots
I-
embedding a little into your fluff.
Are you
Perfectly
okay?
fine.
Are you okay, Cyrus?
I am fine. I am just getting tired of listening to this. Loot. Simple point. You stab someone in the back in any fashion whatsoever. People generally don't trust it. I was not required to sign the contract until the very end when I was about to be brought in fully, and even then that was loosely so because I asked.
By the way,
It is not universally required. It's just really helpful when you want to make sure that you don't know who your enemy is, that you just keep a bit of a safety of someone has given out what we are talking about, something important to us. The only reason for this paper is just so that they are aware of any breaches that may jeopardize. It is not an instant kill because there is a chance to explain yourself.
There are cases where
Corrigan says, indeed,
Ooh.
secrecy and trust is naturally important when it comes to survival in a group.
It's unfortunate, but there is a certain requirement of it at some levels. I'm
Especially
sure
'cause-
coming from yours off, you're well aware of this.
I'd also like to mention that our enemies are also hidden amongst literally every major faction in our world.
also, this contract's going to be your undoing.
What do you mean?
It is written loosely enough in its own right. I'm sure you've been able to see that.
Yes. But you trust it wholeheartedly.
That's because we trust Pluto.
Now that,
Well,
and
I
I
should state that while I was still in the Orzhov, I already circumvented the contract.
what contract?
The same contract.
To be fair, the last contract you signed was about the was about the hideout for the ensemble. That was the only thing that it detailed. This new one is about any of our information that is deemed sensitive.
Let's move on. Because that cloud up there rubs me the wrong way. This unrelated cloud.
I will say...
Okay. Again, for the chat. Leviathan, we're acting. It wouldn't have the same impact to roleplay a scene like this if we're all just sitting here all happy to go lucky, smiles and everything. Like, I understand that the tone of voices are, aggressive and such.
Yeah.
But that's because it's acting, it's roleplay.
Yeah, but I'm fine with, for the sake of Leviathan 1, to maybe jump off this topic in character.
We can go ahead and do so, but, it is acting. It is roleplay. It is...
Yeah.
If we were sitting here making jokes and stuff while talking about something like this, it would have a completely different feel and would make zero sense.
Yeah, I just say we express to Loot that if he doesn't sign the contract, he's gonna have a long uphill battle to earn the a much longer, harder uphill battle to earn trust.
And Loot's willing to take that route.
Much like Trey and his mana training.
I mean, if that's your choice, more power to you. I can certainly understand not being comfortable with contract.
Also, about that thing that you'd mentioned before, because it's starting to hail.
Oh no! How big?
Well, let's see if I... How bad is it? I'll leave it to chance.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Let's do it again. That's dangerous.
It's baseball.
That was
size.
100, wasn't it?
Do a 1d4, because if hail is...
No, let's keep what you got the first time. Let's keep...
I'd say a 4 be softball size and a 1 be normal hail size.
I mean, hail can be very many different sizes. There was a single piece of hail that fell many years ago, but it was the size of a literal minivan.
Wow.
It was in the Guinness Book of World Records. It was literally a single piece of hail that was the size of a minivan. Granted.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Thank you for the...
Neonivic tipped $5.
Thank you for the donation, Neo. To be fair to Leviathan, I think if Neo felt like we were out of character angry with him, he wouldn't have just donated. Just saying.
Okay, just for
I'd be quite a bit more upset if they were doing it for real, and yeah.
I have no problems with Neo at all. Okay, right. I should take that back. You need to relax. But, no actual problems.
Oh no, that cloud! That's
alright. So, this seems more reasonable. It's only 4 inches. It's only 4 inches in diameter. That's more reasonable than that.
Oh God.
So yes,
Oh.
that is. We need to find like a cave. I don't think tents are gonna hold up to this.
Well, how close to the outer edge of the Gruul territory are we?
We're a good ways
Oh,
out
oh.
still.
Hold
We
up.
were right in the middle.
Hold up.
Earlier.
That's the okay. So the largest hailstone was about 8 inches. I know.
So there might there might have been an exaggeration elsewhere.
Oh, was it?
Hmm.
Uh,
Anyways, Grandma's
Yeah.
like, we need to find a cave or something because I don't think tents are gonna hold up for this, and he's gonna try to do
Admittedly,
some
the-
survival.
Admittedly, the tree canopy is doing a lot to like intercept a lot of it, but there is
It's
still
also
some
cracking
pushing through.
branches.
This is also true. There is wood and ice falling.
And Grandma's like, okay, I don't know where that cave was. We stopped at Tanya.
On it. Fucking weather. Swear to God.
It also took us like a day and a half to get to where we were in the Gruul territory. So yeah, no, it's gonna take us a while.
I'm trying to see if I have anything to use against the hail. I don't.
I mean, the only thing I could recommend is a high AC or a tower shield over your head.
Actually, does anyone have a shield that I can put over my head?
Alternatively,
I mean,
Nim is going to run around the group, gather everybody up into a tight group. Silver will help and teleport.
Group hug.
a planeswalking beneficially, since Nim knows where he's going.
Wait,
Actually, one at a time. So he would basically just start going over to people and teleporting one at a time, come back, teleport another.
doesn't the planeswalking still kill non-planeswalkers?
That is
We
leaving
have-
the plane, mostly.
Graham, we have gone over this about 1,000 times.
I still have to make sure before Graham lets Nim planeswalk him. I'm sorry.
Yes, no,
Leaving-
it is a
yes, but
planeswalker
we
leaving the
have
plane
been-
with a
Karidan says,
non-planeswalker.
Karidan is just
Okay.
studying the hail with great interest.
Oh no, don't get hit. Don't get...
Sir-
Please
sir-
find some shelter.
Cirrus is taking care to pull cord onto a tree and then just holding a bedroll over the two of them.
Yeah, Nim's gonna start going one by one, teleporting them to the Cray's house.
Whoa! Ah! Whoa! Ah!
Except loot.
No!
No, I'll take loot.
This is dangerous! Legitimately lethal!
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't take loot and loot just had to run back in the hail.
Cirrus would find an excuse to stay.
Well, he wouldn't tell you. He'd just choose you, and then he'd be like, "Hey, yeah, why aren't you going
Everyone
after
goes
loot?"
to Cray's house with the fortified roof to defend against the evil hail.
Well, I use my quick change ability to change out of the hail that just hit me.
Ah! I see. I don't accept that.
And then I individually pull the hailstones that stuck to me out. My outfit.
You are fine, though, as everyone eventually is in Cray's house. Some a little worse for wear, but nobody's in real any danger. Perhaps some of you are a bit bruised, though.
I knew I forgot something. I didn't replace my shovel that I carry with me.
Did you guys mention mana training to me?
Not sure to you yet.
Alright, so I don't know what that is yet. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I don't think
mean-
anyone has mentioned it, though you definitely would have seen us using weird abilities.
Yep.
I know
Also-
what mana abilities are, but that's it. I don't know how you get it or that you can enhance it.
Yeah, Graham has not explained any of this to Luke.
You were
because Luke
awakened by
cannot
a
be fully-
ghost that visited you and said,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you did good. You can have one."
And I stress awakened mine.
Yeah. I want my awakened ability so bad. But
Well, you
anyway,
gotta earn the trust of the party, otherwise we're not gonna be introducing you to the idea.
I'm not gonna sign that contract just for awesome, cool abilities.
Talking
Oh, what do you mean?
yourself into it. Talking yourself.
What do you
Anyway.
mean? Mary's got plenty of those.
Uh,
Oh, wait. No, I don't think I would know
That's-
that. Never mind, scratch that.
That's the villain. That's.
anyway,
I mean, he could probably be awakened by one of the bad guys if he just agrees to do something else. He just.
that's true, but I have to know what that concept is first. Otherwise, what am I asking them to do? So thank you, Nim, for teleporting me back here. I honestly thought you'd leave me behind. In the hail. In the
That's a
middle of
good
the
boy.
in the middle of the Gruel district.
You'll
I don't
be
like you,
fine
but that
enough.
doesn't mean I'm gonna leave you in danger.
I probably would have lived, maybe.
Bonding.
If you like, I
Cyrus
can
just
take you
chuckles.
back.
No, it would
Less
take me too long
bonding.
to run back. I don't think I want to go back. You want to see a cool trick I can do?
Oh no.
I hazard the awareness of that.
Nah, I'm gonna guess no.
It's not gonna hurt anyone or cause inconvenience, right?
It's not going to hurt anyone.
He can't
Or-
promise the inconvenience. He can't-
I don't feel up for it today.
Okay.
Cyrus is just very tentatively tugging at a spike before wincing and holding off for a moment.
I have healing potions. Here's a healing potion. As he passes a healing potion.
I didn't know you had that. Thank you.
I have 3 of them. Well, 2 of them now.
I don't suppose
Did
people
you?
with advanced senses could make a perception check based on hearing.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I
Does
have
this-
advantage.
Owls do, but I don't get it in this game.
All right.
What the hell?
Wow.
Huh.
Oof. Shall I just throw a perception or
Go ahead.
not advantaged of any sort, just as a very still alert, still trying to pay attention.
All right. Silver and loot. You hear a furious. Well, it's hawks being sound in a very frequent rate from the backyard.
Someone's in the back. as I run to the kitchen to open the door. To let them in.
What?
Well, they're
Open
swearing
it.
because they were stuck in the hail, and I unlock the door and open it.
Opening the door, you see the tree
The tree's
in the
swearing?
backyard, swinging its branches very violently against the oncoming hail. You have never seen a tree so lively that wasn't a Trent.
Oh.
Or Trent, or whatever it is.
Oh
Trent.
no, I don't have medicine.
Silver
Can
also
I-
witnesses this. Tree does not seem to appreciate the weather, as it is swatting the hail back into the sky.
Does Cray have umbrellas?
I don't think we got anything for
Depends
this.
on where you're asking.
Cray, do you have umbrellas?
Depends on where you're asking.
Tree needs umbrellas.
Tree needs
I do not have enough. I do
Tree
not
needs
have
a-
enough.
Tree
I do
needs a
not-
brick wall, is what they need. Tree needs
Wait, we have someone who can create a brick wall.
tree.
I do not have enough umbrellas for a full tree.
Do you have a tarp? A circus tent?
Why would I have a circus tent?
You're a man of mystery.
Name
Good.
the hell is actually bothering Tree very badly.
Yeah. The only thing I have that could possibly help is I take my bedroll and dismantle it into cloth and give it to the tree so it can tarp itself.
The tree itself is not very large. I'll let you know, it's not a full size.
I thought it was a pretty large tree.
Oh yeah, but it could get bigger. It's not like 40 feet tall just yet.
Yeah, remember
Oh.
how big wait, this is the tree in the back in Cray's backyard, right?
This
That
is tree.
correct.
So yeah, no,
Wait.
this tree is basically like can grow as big as a redwood, and it's basically the size of a normal full-grown
Yeah.
tree.
Guys, let's save tree. It's in danger.
Loot,
Duh.
calm down.
The shrub wiggles. Ah, so that is my friend.
Okay,
look-
well, I guess I'm the only one who helps, and I tarp the tree with my bedroll. I'll get
Creedon
rid of the
says, I
bedroll.
could donate my robe to the cause.
Okay,
I doubt it would
guys,
cover much.
stop. Like, seriously here. You haven't even given a chance for me to speak up here. And then you go and make comments like that. They're not appreciated. Nim is going to cast Wall of Stone. Which I believe he should be able to get it stretched out enough to cover tree.
Yes. That is within your abilities.
Does he do this before or after I rip up my bedroll?
I'd
Apparently
imagine
after,
before.
because
Before.
you didn't give him a chance to do anything before you started doing this.
But you said to calm down.
Yes. But you'd
You'd
already
only
ripped
run
it up
to
at
the
that
door
point.
Oh well,
See, no
Federal's
one
fairly
was-
cheap.
No one was coming.
You didn't give us a chance to say that we were going out there. You were just one thing to the next, to the next, to the next.
Save the shrubbery.
The tree is saved.
Rescue vegetation. Rescue.
Slow down.
Vegetation
Sirs.
rescue plan. Vegetation.
Sirs is just looking over to Ruvikin to translate for Shrub. I take it you want better weather to meet under, I imagine.
I will die if I step outside.
Oh, right. Sounds about fair. Okay, so that said, everything's arranged for the moment. Are we good for a minute, or... Because that seems to be back-to-back with this group, so just thought I'd check. Is there anything more? Anyone?
Well,
A
Nim
room
just
of T-posing
used.
people.
Nim just cast the wall of stone, giving cover over tree. All right. Well, I know Corridan needs to go repair his armor. We cannot have loot present while we are discussing what to do with the green piece.
I say we just lock him up in a room for now.
Well, to be fair, you and he both have very good hearing.
And I suspect they'd be able to get out anyways. So.
Alright, then just give me an umbrella.
We're not kicking you out of the house. We'll just discuss it another time, I suppose.
No, it's fine. Just give me an umbrella and I'll go.
An umbrella's not going to save you from 4-inch diameter hail.
I want to
Go hang with Tree. Go hang with Tree.
Oh, that's
Actually,
actually
that's
a
not a
good
bad
idea. Yeah, I'll
There's-
go hang out with Tree.
There is a hammock outside.
The hammock is
Under-
not in the same direction as tree.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna get tilted under that hammock. Right, I hang out with Tree in the middle of a hailstorm.
Behind
Protected
stone,
by
behind
wall of
wall of
stone.
stone.
Cirrus is just gonna kind of rub at this temples a little. And what stops all y'all from just using the little Martens?
I don't think all of us have signed up for it yet, have we?
Oh, right. Cordon. Right, I suppose we do still got to work on that. Do you guys think you can handle that for a bit? I would have gone home, but, well, that's not an option. And I think I'm just gonna find a spot to set up to sleep for the night.
I mean, you are part of our group now, so you do get a say on this stuff.
Oh, wait, shoot, I forgot about the healing potion.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
That is finally being consumed.
Sippy potion. Ah, now you feel like you could remove those things and stay alive.
Do you think the Tree would appreciate a healing potion?
Bree is probably. You know, they might actually.
I will sprinkle one of my healing potions into its roots, or where you pour healing potions on trees.
Bree's going to lower a branch of an enigmatically colored fruit to you.
Wow, I don't even know what color it is. It's an enigma.
I mean, it's like. Well,
like
for starters,
It's like the
it's
colored of a cooked ham.
Oh no, it's not another Hample, is it?
it might be. Except this one's a bit more pink than the others.
A wise decision.
Oh.
thank you for following, Furry Gamer 22.
It's our audience, all right. That's
Yeah, so I guess it would be impolite to refuse a gift, and I say thank you and bite into what I hope is not a hample.
well. The thing is,
poison.
the thing is, you taste bacon. You taste. However,
no.
it's very light. It's and
Full smoked
Chris-
bacon.
well, it seems less outright meaty than the regular apple. Like it's more apple than meat.
Oh gosh, Nim has corrupted this tree, and I don't know how.
With a quantum ham. And then Raylel stabilized it by cooking said quantum ham.
All right, so I'm
I thought
eating.
you already had one.
Yeah, so I'm eating apple smoked bacon. So
Yes.
I'm gonna cut it into strips because honestly, this texture is terrible.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't let Tree say that. They're very proud of it. They're very. Well, this is attempt number 4 to make a normal apple, but they're drawing literally all their nutrients from meat.
It's like I'm just like thinking about like ham with the texture of an apple, and it's like
It's not good. No, I
Oh.
understand, but they're doing their best.
And well, we did establish that Loot will eat anything someone gives him, no matter what it tastes like. So he eats it.
All right, Loot. I'm going to.
A poison
Going to-
check again?
No,
Oh,
far from it. I'm just wondering how to apply it. So we just, I guess.
I have a question. Did Raylel not finish, like, dealing with the quantum ham yet? Is that why this tree is having so much trouble?
I mean, I think he did stabilize it, but he said he could do more. But this was back before he and Nim were again.
Graham might need to talk to him about helping the tree. Well, he doesn't know about the tree having problems with making normal apples, so I guess Graham doesn't know that quite yet. Although Graham will probably converse with Tree at some point.
Tree's just hanging out. As Loot, you recover 21 hit points.
yay! I well, I guess it's mutual. You know, would you think he'd like the special soil, the special mana infused soil?
They might.
I will give the tree the mana infused soil.
You pat it down. You pat it down next to its root.
Loot, if you do something weird to this tree, Graham will beat the shit out of you.
Hey, you left him by it. Everyone agreed. Everyone.
Yes, but Nim
think-
did give a warning that if he messes with Tree, then he will kill him.
I also think Graham mentioned very openly and publicly that if anyone fucked with the tree with magical bullshittery, without knowing what was going to happen, Graham was going to hurt them.
Now let me check my notes. Let's see.
Nim,
Now, what
Graham,
creature did you
Graham
collect
and
the
Nim might have
soil
a.
from again? Or was it just from
Look.
the temple?
I have no space for any more.
It was technically from the treants,
All right.
because I don't think the devil flowers were in soil.
No. They were turning into soil. They were like rapidly decaying to be basically the bed for their seeds.
So in this case, it would be treant.
All right, that does change some things.
Zim, Nim and Graham will finally have a bonding experience. They're gonna beat the shit out of out of Loot whenever he does something horrible to this tree,
Oh, yes.
like
Sir.
a mad scientist.
Cyrus is going to chime in after this bit of time of just a little remark of, would you guys want me to just sit out and keep an eye on him? And just, do you think one of you could just share what you're listening to with me by Marten?
No, we would
don't-
rather keep you. We would rather be here to discuss everything.
All right.
Okay.
Look,
And
I'm
besides,
going to
we
need
have
you to
like in characterly, we have no idea what Loot is doing.
Well, Cyrus is more afraid of giant hail hitting the earth walls like cannonballs and breaking through it, but
It's a stone wall.
And it's just hail.
It is not magical, but it is coming down with great force. It is
Like, it might
I-
break the windows, and it might not.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll take it as it is. Looks sturdy enough then. Apologies.
Alright, so what do you
Alright.
need me to do now?
I need you to pick a range.
Pick a range.
Pick a range of 20 out of 100. Like this to
Pick-
this. Like 20 to 40 or such.
Pick something for... Oh, a range.
Yes.
Yeah, and it can consume 20 numbers of space.
60 to 120.
That's more than 20. You have a range of basically like
you
you can be
need
like
a range of
1 to
1/3
20.
that size.
4 to 20. 4 to 20.
Your range is a bit too small, but would
I
you
don't
like
know.
4 to
Just pick a range for me or something. I don't know what I'm doing.
a range of 20 numbers, 1/5 of 100.
Oh, usually I'm good with we'll say 50 to
70 or 30.
Yeah, sure. 50 to 70.
All right. Oh. Well, Loot, you hear cracking. Very sudden and loud.
Mm. Wow, I really effectively killed this tree.
Hang on. Let me. I would assume the hail raining down on Cray's house probably would drown out a lot of noises. So I'm gonna roll my perception with just
Is it just me or
like
Graham
a
that
normal perception.
All
'Cause I
right,
would
go
assume
for it.
that the hail would probably give disadvantage to hearing.
Am I dying?
normally.
You are not dying. Okay.
You're not dying, but Loot might.
All right, Graham, you hear cracking.
like what kind? Like what kind of cracking?
Like wood, it would be like a trunk rending asunder. A trunk
Graham is going to turn, walk towards the back to see what is where the noise was coming from, and he's going to look to see what's happening.
Lute's gonna once he sees Graham, he's gonna try to look as nonchalant as possible.
And Nim would probably see Graham going over to the back.
What's going on over there?
You could also probably see the murder in his eyes.
What's going on, Graham?
I heard a noise that I shouldn't be hearing. So what's happening? What's happening in the backyard? Because
Well, the tree is a lot less rigid than it was before because the trunk is like twisting a little bit.
What?
And then it twists the other way a little bit before some bark falls off at around about the middle.
Nim probably won't see that. I don't think the rest of us will see it, but Nim is moving over next to Graham to look out.
Graham is already opening the door. His sword is drawn and blazing.
As
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
yes, hello, Cray.
Okay. I'm sorry, my Discord freaked out.
I see.
It does that occasionally.
As a line appears under where some of the bark was falling off before an explosion of splinters just comes out in like some mist of sawdust and wood powder.
Oh no, I'm right beside it.
You are covered in sawdust and splinters.
No.
How much damage is he taking from that?
Golly, how do I calculate that?
Can I dex save it? Because I have evasion.
You know what? Would you possibly be able to see this coming? Would you?
You can see
I
this
don't
coming.
think you
Trees betting on you.
I'll give myself disadvantage then.
All right, go for it.
Alright.
I'm laughing if they jump out and then take a hit
No.
instead.
No, it gets me.
All right. Well, congratulations. The dice is on your side. You only take 1 damage.
Yeah, but
more importantly, you see Graham coming towards you
with his arms outstretched, ready to strangle him.
No,
And
Graham is approaching you with a blazing sword, and Nim is running to the tree to check on tree.
This is following them.
There is a large hole that then closes and then opens again as more bark falls off a little, and the tree seems a little bit more like a tree.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, did the tree just turn into a treant?
A little bit.
Hang on. First strike, as Graham will barely control his anger, will be to hit Loot in the face with the pommel of his sword.
Oh no!
Roll it.
I mean, this isn't a bad thing exactly.
That just hits.
No, but he was warned.
Well, everyone everyone hits loot, it seems. That's just how this goes.
Oh gosh.
This is non-lethal. He'll just be like, "What the fuck did you do?"
You got
Well,
Cirrus will be placing a hand to the tree to attempt the same communication as before to ask if it is okay.
just ask it
Nim
yourself.
is
It can
also
talk.
checking.
Did you really just say ask it yourself to him?
Yes.
Okay, he's gonna he's gonna reach out and he's gonna touch you.
Ooh.
Oh.
And he shall use his bestow curse.
Oh, well, what's the curse going to be?
Well, no, hold on. You can save from this. You can save.
Roll. I need to roll a wisdom save on you.
Oh, okay, wisdom. Oh, yeah, you
Hang
can
on.
use it on me. Yeah. Failure. So what is this curse, unless it's a standard curse?
I bestow curse on you, and I'm going to give your dexterity a little bit of a hit.
Well, now I permanently have disadvantage on...
Not
permanently.
permanently. It's only for 10 minutes for right now.
Oh.
Graham will ask you again. What did you do?
What do you mean? Okay, I'm going to take one step backwards, and then I'm going to start dancing at Graham. One second. And I start dancing. How do I make Graham dance?
Are you sure you want to do this?
Karidan says,
In the hail?
Karidan makes no move to get involved with the fight, and asks Cray, would you like a cup of tea?
Gray looks over and smiles.
He's just
Yes.
inside. He's having a fine time.
I don't know how to use it on you, Graham.
You roll the save over top of my token.
I believe this
on
is
the,
a spell he
combat
made.
tracker.
He might not have that token.
It's not a
thing.
spell, but
It should still have a you can add the save rolls.
yeah. But
Yes, there it is.
As I
I'm looking at
understand,
it
there is
myself.
no save.
It says Wisdom DC 17.
Oh, I guess there is.
Yeah.
The way you were describing it was there was no save.
Now,
Karidan
open the
says,
combat tracker.
Karidan's
Hold on.
just going to go
Oh.
make a cup of tea for Cray. He enjoys the process.
oh, yeah, I have to use it on him in the combat tracker. That makes more sense.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Okay, so Graham, you just start dancing and you don't know why, just slightly out of reach to not hit Luke.
This is not going to help with his anger.
Graham will now cast Spirit Guardians, which you are very much still in range of.
Oh, golly gosh.
Have we
What
got
Okay.
What
any
does this
response-
ability? What does this ability actually do?
You can perform. Oh, I can't do it.
Oh.
You can only perform this if you have not moved or performed since the start of your turn, and technically moving back 5 feet, he would have just moved forward. Never mind.
Okay, so then backpedaling, none of that happens and Luke is safe.
Yeah, but
Graham.
Graham's gonna punch him in the face again.
Yep.
What does it do?
You can perform this flare only if you have not moved or performed a flare since the start of your turn. Performing this dance requires your action and all your movement to dance without leaving your space. When performing this dance, you can choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you and force it to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature must use all this movement
Slow
to dance
down.
without
Why
leaving
are you going so fast?
must use all its movement to dance without leaving its space, and it has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws and attack rolls. While this target is affected by this dance, other creatures have advantage on attack rolls against it. A dancing creature can use its action to make another wisdom saving throw to regain control of itself. This effect lasts as long as you maintain it by using your action and remaining in your space. It also ends early if the creature cannot see you at the start of its turn.
Okay.
So basically, he takes himself out of combat to take some other creature out of combat.
Not
Okay.
completely out of combat, but basically.
So if you're gonna backpedal, Graham's gonna step forward and punch you again.
Go for it.
Wait, why was that at disadvantage?
Because of
And
the
how is that
effects.
still
Oh,
a hit?
I put the effects on the wrong person. I put some of the effects on the wrong person.
Oh my.
Well, either way, it's a hit, so roll.
And either
Roll
way,
damage
you
on
guys
them.
have had your turns. What about the rest of us checking on tree?
I was about to say, by this point, has the tree given us any response or interaction? We've had a minute.
3 seems befuddled and very confused. Things, new things. I can see. Many things.
Is it actually speaking out loud?
No,
Okay.
like its mouth is, air quotes, mouth is moving, but it's like making like disjointed noises because it doesn't know how to talk.
Okay, so it's still talking through telepathy, it's just moving its mouth, quote unquote.
Tree seems very overwhelmed.
It sounds pained, so Graham's gonna continue beating on Loot till he would have just gotten a severe like tongue lashing from Graham if he just told the truth, but now he's gonna get beaten for every time you lie.
Nim is going to join the fight.
Oh my god! Again!
No!
Graham is very
freaking again.
specifically dealing non-lethal damage, though.
Nim will not. He gave a fair warning.
Cirrus is asking again more clearly, though. Are you okay to tree? Just hoping for a response.
Hello? Yeah, Owl, hello.
Hello.
How am I?
Well, you are moving more than anything I've ever seen. Are you feeling all right?
Confused, strange, not. Oh, okay. I'm okay. It seems to be asking it more of a question, but it is saying it's okay.
Rob, I assume that the trainer is inside the house. But
It's from the hail.
yeah, she's not going to be able to talk Nim down from this.
Okay, I'm gonna.
That you were all about to like discuss something like the next move as a group, and then Grace and then Graham said like, "Hey, what's that in the backyard?" And Nim followed. She's like, "Oh, I guess he'll be back after he goes to look at that." Now, like, where is Nim?
I am going to fall on the ground and die, as far as anyone's concerned.
Are you gonna go possum?
Yes.
Ah, yes, the playing dead.
Alright, well, Graham's still, like, holding on to your, like...
It's a thoroughly unconvincing performance.
Graham is going to now drag you away.
Nim's going to kill me first.
Bobby.
Nim hears this.
I mean, you are telepathically receptive.
He'll stop
I
on
would
his way
imagine.
towards loot and look back.
Cyrus is looking slightly less concerned.
Its eyes are wandering to and fro. Bobby, how do I look? Well,
Are you okay?
Things are new. Everything is new. Everything is.
But are you okay?
Yeah.
They're not certain that, but there's a lot of new. Cyrus is now taking a closer look at the changes.
Well, for starters, its eyes aren't exactly lined up. It's like
Nim,
one is a little higher than the other one. It's a little...
Nim is going to growl as he looks back at loot and just give a sigh. Graham, let's just tie him up for now until we figure out what he did.
Fine, but I'm punching him one more time. Because he still didn't answer my question. Is Luke going to answer the question before he's punched in the face again?
You'll
He's
probably
playing
kill...
possum.
Oh yeah, I'm pretending to be dead.
Again, I have stated all damage Graham is doing is non-lethal.
It was also an unconvincing performance.
Yes, but Luke doesn't know that.
Yeah.
True.
My God, how can you miss?
I apparently can't.
With a low enough roll, anything is
Without
possible.
a critical fail. So you get punched in the face again. He's like, I'm going to keep interrogating you until you answer the question. But for now, I'm gonna tie you to a chair. And Graham will tie Luke to a chair.
Elements is looking...
After dragging him back inside.
I am going to roll a dexterity saving throw against being tied to a chair.
Well, you have disadvantage, so good luck.
Element sees Graham trying to tie Loot to a chair, and he cannot help but ask, "What the hell is going on?"
Nim's
He
going to
fucked
look.
with the tree.
Oh, okay.
He messed with tree.
Where's Buddy? Is he under your bed?
Loot's face also has a couple more bruises on it.
God, Loot's taken over Nim's job, but in a worse way.
You literally can't leave Lulu alone for 5 minutes.
Damn!
This was what Graham was afraid of.
No, it wasn't. You
hold
didn't
up,
even
hold
think
up.
that was a
Element?
possibility.
Hold up.
Who
No,
has
I-
been handing out tea to the people who remained in the house.
Element,
Huzzah.
if you move
Yes?
towards Loot to heal him, Nim's going to stop you.
Oh. Okay.
Graham would also stop you.
Sasha's just so confused, like sipping tea. He's like, what the fuck happened? I took my eyes off you guys for minutes.
And the thing that Graham was worried about was that Loot would be like a second Nim. And Loot is proving to be a second Nim as far
Except
as Graham
Nim is at least doing better about it.
Yes, Nim has improved, but Loot is like a shiny brand new Nim. All the positivity, but none of the wisdom from the experience of being yelled at viciously.
I didn't think this would happen.
And if you're gonna resist being tied to a chair, Graham's gonna punch you again. He will knock you out if it's necessary.
Hey, Luke, can you add 20 points of 20 points of damage to yourself again? Because I didn't
Yeah.
actually heal you.
Yeah, I'm halfway dead.
You're not dead. You're halfway unconscious. Because again, I've
Yeah.
stated very specifically, Graham is doing non-lethal damage.
Yeah.
To be fair, you can make that all non-lethal damage, and then the moment someone does lethal damage, then we got a problem.
You're hitting me again? Dear God, have mercy.
No.
You refuse to be tied to a chair, so you're getting punched again.
Okay. I need to ask a question. Okay, what is going on right now? Lud, why are both Graham and Nim mad at you? It is astounding that you actually managed to get them to agree on something. What happened?
He messed with Tree.
But how did he mess
We
with
don't
Tree
know
is
yet.
now a treant. Or something treant-like.
We
Wait,
don't
what?
really understand what's going on yet.
And that
Graham
means he's gonna look
definitely has no
outside of-
idea yet.
And that means he's gonna look outside of the window to look at the tree.
Yeah, Graham doesn't know what's happening. That's why Graham will also say, like, I'm trying to get him to tell us what he did, but he won't. So
Okay.
I've been punching him.
Fine, I'll tell you.
Tree is sagging a little because they are not used to this mobility when they have been rigid for their entire life.
Alright, I'll tell you.
Yes, that's new. Oh God, not more problems with me.
Cirrus is reassuring Tree that they seem to be looking all right, at least for what is going on.
Well, that
Oh.
does calm them down a little bit. That does.
I'll tell you if you hit me one more time.
If
You
that's
just
what
softly
you want.
baps him with the stick. There.
Is that really what Loot says to Graham?
Yes.
Okay,
Craig
Graham-
already hits him.
Graham is not happy with Loot playing games like this, so he's gonna go into were-rabbit form, then punch Loot.
Are
Graham,
you capable of?
stop.
How is this still non-lethal at this point?
Are you capable of dealing not lethal damage while as a were-rabbit?
Yes, because I'm hitting him with the butt of my sword.
D&D rules as written, any damage, literally any damage, can be declared non-lethal.
Not
Yeah,
any
but this
damage.
is getting ridiculous.
non-
This is like taking a sledgehammer to the head and saying it was non-lethal.
That depends on where you hit.
It depends on where you hit. It depends on how you control the hit. Like
Yeah,
there are ways to do that
Yeah.
non-lethally.
That's still a hit.
So there are no situations where you couldn't be able to declare non-lethal damage.
Magic-
let me double check.
Okay, magic cannot be declared as non-lethal. And I believe that ranged attacks cannot be declared as non-lethal. However,
Unless you have like some kind of like blunt arrow.
Yeah. The funny thing is you don't actually have to declare an attack to be non-lethal until after you've made it and rolled the damage.
I mean, it doesn't matter when, but as long as before, it gets... Like, if you attack them and then move on from your turn and stuff, you can't exactly just be like, oh, by the way, I meant for that to be non-lethal, as they are currently bleeding out on the floor.
Loot is barely holding on to consciousness as
Shouldn't there
Graham
be a
hits him
plus?
again.
Shouldn't there be a plus on that 2d12?
Fun fact, it's specifically noted
you
that...
are correct. That should be +8. Loot is knocked out.
Fun fact, it is specifically noted that melee damage can be declared non-lethal.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, can I heal him now? I think you guys went too far.
What do you mean,
No,
you guys? I did not do this, and I told Graham to stop.
Okay, Graham,
He
you went too far.
unconscious for a little bit because he's pissed me off. No, if I was stabbing him, I would have gone too far. Didn't do that.
Okay, fair enough. I understand why you went this far just because of all the problems you have had with Tree in the past, but please don't kill him. I don't need that in my conscience.
I didn't kill him.
That's what I'm saying. Don't go too far. You went into Were Rabbit for this. I am a bit unsettled.
Meanwhile, Cirrus outside. So, is it just new experience, or is it uncomfortable?
New experience, many things now. Can see two different. Can't focus on one.
Nim is going back out to Tree.
Huh. So you've only been able to see from one point?
See things as they are other way. Now see another way. Mix.
Oh.
I think he had True Sight before.
Yes, and yes, they did. A very short range True Sight.
Oh,
but now they have True Sight. No, they now have True Sight and Vision. They can see a lot farther, and it's very confusing because it's not True Sight.
Oh, so it's
they're taking in a lot more information than they used to.
So it still has the short range True Sight, but now it can actually see as if it had eyes.
Yes.
Huh.
Graham is.
So it sounds as though you can. It might just be something to get used to, but you don't feel unwell otherwise? Sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Head stuffy.
Okay.
This is probably sensory overload for a tree.
Maybe it would be better if you tried to just calm down, relax for a bit.
Oh. Be calm. Ice not hitting. It's fine. Everything's fine. Things are good. Good thing. Good.
So much good.
I could perhaps cover the site for a little if it's too much for you right now.
Considering it is still practicing with its mouth, it may not be able to figure out how to close its eyes.
By the way, how long has it been since Nim cast the Wall of Stone?
I'm not sure.
I can't imagine it's been more than like 10 minutes.
Probably a few minutes by this point.
If it's been 10 minutes, the wall of stone is now permanent.
Oh.
I'm not sure that's good for the tree.
Well, I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
we
a
can
tree
break
ant,
it
they
down.
can just move to the sun, and then they've got shade when they need it.
Tree has a home now.
It's more, yeah, it's... Nim did make it pretty tall, and it's basically like an L shape on the ground, you know?
Yeah.
Lovely little shelter. But,
There's thing. It makes noise. There's also bendy, very bendy. Is this? Am I dying?
I don't think so. You
Am I not tree? Am I reed now? Am I reed?
The fact that it
I
knows what a
don't
reed
quite
is
think that.
amazing.
Yes.
Graham's
yes,
gonna
very.
poke Element in the chest, be like, when you wake him up, you find out what the fuck he did, because I have a real problem with people fucking with sentient beings like he just did.
Okay, just go, just go. Calm down, Graham.
Ooh.
And by the way, I gave him a chance to solve this not peacefully, and he decided to fuck around.
Yes, I understand that. I know you wouldn't have done that if he hadn't pissed you off legitimately. I'm just saying to go calm down. It's not. It's the anger is not good for you.
Graham will. What would Graham do? Because he really still wants to keep punching Loot, but Loot's already unconscious now, so there's no point in it because he doesn't want to kill Loot.
Just start backhanding his face.
Do
it.
Just like
Give
take
it
a
to
glove,
your
slap,
hatred.
slap, slap, slap.
Graham is going to just walk out the front door. He's gonna go into one of the many empty houses around Craze and just start punching walls.
Ah, no. Take the trees example. Punch to hail.
That would hurt potentially, and break, which would just make it sharp. Don't punch sharp things. That's a bad idea.
Okay. Element is approaching Loot and using cure wounds on him.
Alright. Just a little bit of a broken jaw.
I am not a dedicated healer, so this is the best I can do. I've kind of exhausted my spells for today.
Alright.
Okay, so what can you tell me what is it that you did that got Graham so angry? He hasn't gotten this angry before.
Could you untie me first?
Sure. Let me cut off the ropes.
Oh, ooh. Alright, I'll tell you. I gave it this potion, and he hands over the empty bottle.
Is there any of the potion left in the bottle? Or is it completely empty?
I think that's up to the DM.
There is like some residue of the potion, but not a lot.
Okay, and what else?
Okay, and I hand him the handkerchief, and it's covered in dirt.
Dirt. Wait, why do you have dirt? Why do you have dirt on that hanky?
He
'Cause
picked up dirt, remember?
Yeah, that's mana infused dirt.
Element blinks. Oh,
I thought it would make excellent soil. I was originally going to give it to Poison Grandma, but
okay. Then
the
that
tree
that
was hurt, and I tried to make friends with the tree, and the tree betrayed me.
okay. That
The
actually.
tree did no such thing. It's a tree.
Element is looking back at the tree that is now more trail-like than what he was before. Okay, I think this actually explains a lot, and now I understand why Graham is so angry. Ugh.
Loot takes the handkerchief back.
Okay. Okay, you know, if you have just told
Karidan
this from
says, Karidan is brewing additional tea for all those who remain at the house, who are currently without tea, loot included.
you know
Yay.
if you had just told this to Graham from the beginning, he wouldn't have attacked you.
But then Nim would have killed me, literally.
Nim wasn't. Nim was. Didn't you notice that Nim wasn't attacking you at all?
Because he was concerned about the tree, but he was going to bite my head off.
But he did it.
No. Because
So-
Graham was hitting me.
He's saying that Graham was the safer option, so he chose to piss off Graham, so Graham would continue punching him, so he wouldn't leave him to Nim.
You know, if Nim actually wanted to beat you up, getting Graham to beat you up first wouldn't have deterred him. So I don't think I seriously doubt that getting yourself beat up by Graham actually stopped him from attacking you. It must have been something else. That is my honest belief.
Can you think of any reason why Nim wouldn't choose not to kill someone who messed with the tree?
Maybe the tree told something that made him calm down. Because the tree can speak.
This tea's good.
Yes, quite. Now, as that is a lot of interpersonal conflict, as long as no one breaks the law, I'm just going to let it sort itself out.
Graham is gonna be so pissed if he comes back.
What, you're gonna stay out there forever?
No, he's not. If he sees
Well-
Luke untied and doesn't get a very good explanation,
You know,
it won't
maybe
be
I should,
non-lethal.
maybe I should get out of here while I have the chance. So,
Element is actually going. I was just about to recommend that. Yes.
okay, I'm gonna take one of those umbrellas by the front door.
Yeah, you know that the umbrellas is not going to protect you from the hail, right?
And I'll take this pot from the kitchen.
That is messing with death.
And
the animated
Element
Oh yeah.
Element is going to grab you by the scrub right before you try and take one of the things from the kitchen.
Okay, fine.
No.
Take-
When he goes and approaches the pots and pans in the kitchen, the pots stand up, and the knives start marching out into a formation in front of the pot.
like a phalanx.
Also, Graham will be out punching walls for 8 minutes.
Okay, then I leave. I take the umbrella because I want an umbrella.
Let me, Luda. If you are in Lud, you are in no condition to be out going on to be going out on the hell like that. You
I'll
will
be fine. As he
no.
stumbles out the door, still concussed.
Come here, you.
No.
Element is picking you up.
No, and digs his fingernails into the ground. But there's only blankets and pillows. Oh wait, I can use a dexterity saving throw against...
You're still at disadvantage though for that. Enjoy.
I
Oh, wow.
succeed. I dodged the grapple.
It would not be a dexterity saving throw. It
wouldn't
be...
normally, but I get to use dexterity saving throw against being grappled.
I
I see.
Fair
The
enough.
future.
Why are you trying to make this difficult? I am trying to help you.
They're going to kill me once they come back out.
I am not keeping you in here. I am taking you to the burrows with me. Because
okay.
Because you need help. Because you need healing.
Okay. Luke does keep the umbrella though.
Keep it. That is not a bad idea.
Are
Are you going to tell
Luke
anyone what you
really
have
wants
discovered?
that umbrella.
I mean, that's theft, though.
I
I'm
imagine
borrowing
it
Cray. I'm borrowing the umbrella.
Wait, look, that umbrella
Okay.
isn't your. Look, that umbrella isn't yours.
Okay, fine. I'll put it back. We'll go to the umbrella store on the way home.
That's fair.
The one
You
that sells the teapots at the same time.
Cray does not need umbrellas. Cray has hat.
Well, then Cray would give me umbrella. Give me umbrella.
Yeah, you can have the umbrella. I don't mind.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate the consideration that was surrounding it, but yeah, I don't.
Okay, so Lut does get the umbrella, and Element is taking him with him. He's living with Lut.
Shield head.
you know if Graham doesn't get an explanation, he's gonna start hunting down loot. Like in fact, this might be the single most influential thing to driving Graham back to his family, because he's gonna hunt Loot's ass down without a proper explanation.
Nim.
Element will give you one.
Yeah, Nim, congratulations. Now Graham hates Loot more.
Calcero pokes his head out of the bag and says, like, hey, before you do all this, Element, I've been practicing with the mana stuffs. And
Oh?
yeah, I got one. I don't know how good it is. I can give you a little kiss.
Element blinks. Huh? What exactly does a kiss do?
He like leans forward and kisses your finger and heals you for 2 hit points.
Element looks at the tiny amount of healing. Well, that's nice. I do wonder if that would be more potent if you were in your actual body.
Oh no.
Oh, okay then. I think healing may not be your thing, Calcero.
I was just screwing around. I didn't think my mana would actually take it. Ah!
we may need to discuss this later.
And for some reason, the further away Element gets, with loot, the louder the song "Oh Fortuna" plays in the background.
Oh god.
Oh, Fortuna, what is that?
It's basically like it sounds like boss music if I it's orchestra. It's basically orchestra boss music.
Ah, okay, I get it.
So, Loot, are you hurt badly? Oh wait, no. You look like hell. Do you want a little kiss?
Sure, you can use my mana for it. As he bites his hand and presents it to him.
Okay. Just
We never established what it looks like when he batteries, so I imagine he suckers.
he
There,
is a blood
I
doll.
posted it in Guild Tales for you, Elemen.
Dragon presents you a little kiss.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I heard that before.
Yay. Okay.
You feel a tiny little bit better. That was not worth it.
Okay. As soon as as soon as like 10 minutes has passed, the enemy is going to use the Marten to call Graham.
Oh, see, here's the problem. Graham comes back 2 minutes before you call him and sees loot is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if
Let
this
me
much
roll.
time-
Let me roll as he roll survive. Hopefully, he rolls a really bad survival. No such luck.
I don't leave footprints.
But Element does.
Yeah, he does.
Element. You could probably see the were-rabbit dragging a flaming greatsword in the distance behind you through the hail.
Man, this is a long hail. I think I'm going to run. See you later, Element. Zoop. And Loot zooms away.
Graham is going to chase you.
Enemy rough his temple. Yeah, but
Actually, you know what? Graham is going to stop by Element first and basically just give a glare of like, I'm going to need an answer or things are going to get ugly.
And with a little kiss.
Calceru, stop wasting your mana, please.
And with that, Loot.
It's the only thing I have right now.
With that, Luke takes a corner, and you will never know which one.
There's other ways to track you. But yeah, he'll wait for Element to give an explanation why he has untied Loot.
Well, this Loot literally needs medical attention at the moment, considering how much he's been beat up. I thought of taking him to the borders to get to get a medic to take a look at him, and to just get him away from the house, so he's not there for any discussion.
I'm going to need a really, really good reason not to start a fight in the middle of this road.
Why would you want to fight with?
Because I tied him up for a reason, Element.
Oh, he found out what he did to the tree!
Yes. He told me what he did. That's why I untied him. That was the reason why you tied him up in the first place, correct?
That was a small part of the reason, Element.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay, then tell me the rest.
We need to have a serious conversation with him about doing stupid things like he did.
Graham, I don't mean to really spell this out for you, but you do realize that hasn't really been working out, right? You do realize that every time you try to explain anything to anybody, it goes really badly, and people don't tend to understand you. You wouldn't have been able to really say anything to Lut like that. You needed to calm down. You do realize it took so long with him because we couldn't understand the way he thinks, and sadly I think Lud is kind of on that same ballpark, not necessarily the same thing, but the way that his mind works is certainly unique. So one of your conversations isn't going to do anything.
I didn't say it was just going to be me, but I am definitely going to be dragging him back one way or another.
Can you at least let me take him to the borders to get him healed up at least?
Hmm.
You know, I already spent all my healing today. I can't do it myself.
Alright. Graham has a pretty decent reign on his increasingly growing aggression. Fine, I expect him back and in full awareness of what he did was being stupid and wrong, Element.
I'll try. Okay. Well, Calcero, I'm gonna need your wings right now because I need to go track down Loot. He couldn't have gotten far with his injuries.
And Graham shall brave this hailstorm longer as he goes to the as he will walk across everything that he has to, or taking public transport if it's still running, to get to the X ensemble base to talk to the snowfall to rein in his murderous urges.
she'll be right over because she was with Eileen and Greta to do some testing, and then they went their ways.
They probably
because
left
they
when
couldn't.
it started hailing.
Yeah.
Although I assume Graham probably looks terrifying because he's not really. He's still dragging his flaming greatsword behind him on his way there, just unable to just let go of his anger at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
As he barely clings to rational thought.
Okay, is Loot still running away?
Well, after he gets about 10 minutes away, he's going to disguise himself in like an alley.
You're not going to be able to find him yourself, Element.
Ah. Well, I can try to roll survivor even if it's not likely.
I believe in you.
Oh.
Well, if he leaves no tracks, then there's nothing for you to track.
He doesn't leave footprints.
And he's on the street.
I mean, he did just beat himself trying to give mana to Calcero. He could have dropped some blood.
Yeah, he is still injured, so he might have left like
But I was
a blood
kissed
drop
and-
here or there.
But I was kissed, and we established that the healing heals blood up first, or bleeding first.
Yeah, magical healing does, that is part of D&D. You get healed even for 1 point and it stops bleeding.
Oh, all of it?
That is true, yeah.
Oh.
So the little kiss was very much to Loot's favor.
But you do know where he lives, I think.
Yes, I do.
And you
Eric
might
will
be going
very
there.
surprised when Loot gets home, like, oh my god, what happened?
Wait, no, I don't know where he lives. I don't know Merrick's. I don't know Merrick's house.
What about Poison Grandma?
Merrick lives with, Poison Grandma.
You know Morath. You can
Oh,
call
Morath.
Morath. Yeah.
Morath. Am I aware that Morath is living with Merrick and Poison Grandma?
Yes.
Okay.
Only because Luke mentioned Poison Grandma.
Okay, fair enough. And Morath has a Marten phone, so okay then. After Element has been flying for a while, but even though he rolled a good survival roll, Loot is too good at.
Wait, you're flying in this hail.
Yes.
I think that requires a fly check, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. What check do I have to do that for? What check?
You are a very large target.
I know.
There's not a fly thing, is there? Never mind. I don't know what it would be then. I feel like it should require some kind of roll to fly through this hail, though.
Probably I'd use athletics if I had to use a roll.
Oh, I would lean towards strength for just simply taking a small cannonball to the back.
I mean, both of those work, and that's definitely my good roll. So
Oh no.
Constitution check.
yeah.
As a
Are you
player,
there?
this is hilarious and fun. As a character, I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, thankfully, you do you do get the de-stressing treatment. However, this is probably like lingering a little bit in your mind, like, god damn it. Even if the current mood is like brought back down to neutral.
Yeah. Well, I tried looking for loot while flying, but I wasn't able to. So plan B it is.
Actually, we may be wrapping up a bit sooner rather than later. I did mention early on that this was going to be. I did mention in the group chat this was going to be a shorter session than usual. I have
Okay.
more to do tomorrow than I. Yeah, I'm going to a clinic. I'm going to.
Oh, fair enough.
So, is there anything else anyone wants to get in last minute?
I would appreciate
is it-
another 10, 15 minutes if possible.
I can do that.
I was just going to ask us if there's anything update of the tree, if you will, then, or if they're just relatively settling into new senses, I guess.
They did awaken to 1, having a mouth, 2, vision, and 3, mobility. It's a lot to take in all of a sudden.
Okay.
Didn't it also hear things too?
It could hear before. It could hear.
Well,
Our,
so,
our, our, our little house dryad has evolved into a trend.
What a promotion? Question mark?
well, Circe is just going to settle down with the tree, and should nightfall come, Circe does not care. More than happy to just sleep out.
The hail eventually subsides.
It sounds like we're not getting much further with all the chaos.
Karidan says, Karidan is just going to be secluding himself in his room to work on repairs, so he won't mentally scar anyone.
True, Castero is away.
All right, we can go ahead and wrap up here.
Alrighty then. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Feel
no,
good?
it's all good. I had no idea when you planned to leave, so.
Well, I was gonna try and make this at least 4 hours.
Nim
it's
is
all good.
basically just like, well, I guess I'll hold on to this for now, and the green piece, and settle down to sleep.
You may have to like teach Tree how to deal with so many things.
Yeah,
Like-
Nim is still out there. He's basically just saying, telling Tree, just try to relax and just try to. Nim, I've got no idea how to have Nim try and walk Tree through that.
This is a lot.
Nim needs
Yeah.
Maybe
professional
like
help.
maybe like an interroll or something to teach tree like a role to like be like Nim is trying to teach Tree.
Cirrus is just staying with Tree through to evening and will into the night if need be. After all, I have a bedroll, and Tree is more than welcome to wake the owl if ever needed for anything.
Oh, I have a question. What's
Yes.
the junk?
The junk.
What
The junk.
Oh,
The card of junk.
The curse of
Ah,
junk
that's
can't play
right.
anymore.
Ah,
Back when the dirt was acquired.
there was a curse of junk, yes. I can return it
Good
if you prefer.
recollection.
I remember what I had made it. Wooden carvings.
Out of the explosion of tree?
Yes. Now, they're rough, and they look more like wooden chicken nuggets with like a couple like odd scrapings to give them more definition, but yes.
Who has them?
They're on the ground. They're on the ground.
Well,
Amidst
Well-
the hail.
Would Nim notice them while he's out there then?
Probably when he investigated everything that was basically expelled from free during the creation of a mouth. Yes.
So,
well,
does the splinters I have in me give me mana powers?
They do not. However, you do feel potentially dangerous if something were to try to hug you.
Oh, cool! I could collect all the dust and splinters and put it in the napkin.
And then you'd have that.
Now I have more than one use of magic dust splinter. Whoa.
we shall be reassured. I'm sure all will be well.
Well, they're learning. They're learning slow, but they're learning. They do seem to get terribly anxious when they start leaning to one direction, though. Like they think they're gonna fall, despite being very firmly rooted in the ground.
All of the assurance that Cirrus can offer.
It is also very hard to prop them up because that's a lot of heavy mass. But eventually, they start getting the hang
Rondus
of
calls him wants you to go on an
sitting
adventure.
upright.
Follow the adventure line TM.
Sorry, Toshime said adventure in the chat. I had to.
Oh.
Hey, no worries. I'm just laughing because I just read chat and see Druid. Tree has already completed adventure.
Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this up here.
Fair enough.
Thank you everybody for joining us for Guild Tales Dungeons and Dragons. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, and more.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Says goodbye, Tilda.
You know, I was not aware that my mic broke, cut out there. I don't know why it broke, but thank you everybody for joining. Check out our website, check out the link tree. Do consider becoming a patron. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. And I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.